I know my own needs, and what I need from an automobile, I know I get from this new Cordova. For me, there is nothing beyond Cordova's tasteful appearance. Nothing beyond the luxury of seats available in rich, crushed velour. It is surprising the affordability of this small Chrysler. Cordova has what I need.
Good evening. Welcome to episode 58 of the Music Relish show. Con your hosts, Luis Colicchio, Marco Smith, y Piero Derovich.
Yeah.
We are a music discussion podcast. Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing, Lou?
Doing good.
Hello out there. Hello, everyone.
Hello. All right. So, for us, it's Sunday night. For anyone else, who knows? It's any night they want it to be.
Sunday.
It's your world.
It's Monday in Ireland.
So tonight we're going to talk about a little tribute to a singer before we start. But we've got a guitarist named Larry Collins, apparently a guitarist extraordinaire Mark wants to talk about. Perry and the rest of us have some random relish, which we always do, and some trivia.
Yes.
I go and mention about the singer Buffy St. I finally found out who she really is. And I want to talk about some drummers that people consider maybe worse or not good drummers, depending upon your opinion. Movies from 1974, we may throw that in if we've got some time. And I'm sure a lot of things are going to pop up along the way, right?
Yeah, I have a look at some songs that are recorded at Bell Sound Studios in New York City.
Okay, right. And that might be it. That might be it.
Sounds like a good show to me.
Yeah. So before we start, I'd like to pay tribute to the late Mary Weiss of the girl group, the Shangri-Las. My favorite girl group.
Wow.
They had the songs Leader of the Pack, Remember, Walking in the Sand, covered by Aerosmith. And Give Him a Great Big Kiss. Remember that one? That might have been their more minor hit. Give Him a Great Big Kiss. Yeah.
I do remember hearing that a bit, yeah.
Yeah. They were an old Jewish girl group from New York, and they're part of that. They were early '60s up into the mid '60s. But what was cool about them is they were like kind of bad white girls.
Yeah.
The Ronettes, Ronnie Spector and Ronettes, they were kind of like street tough Puerto Rican girls. But like Shelley Fabre was really clean and
right.
Sheila
like
Clark,
Pat Boone, clean.
Yeah. The Shangri-Las,
Yep.
They made out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway. I think she had a great voice also, and just a great persona.
Did she sing? Was she the singer of those songs, or was she one of the background singers?
She was the lead singer.
She was the lead singer, huh?
Yeah, and I think two of her sisters were in at one point. Yeah, two of her sisters, I think, wow. And another friend from high school.
Cool.
I didn't get the other names of the three, but yeah, the last time they ended in the mid '68. They did reunions here and there. The last time, this is for Jersey people and New York people. The last time they were reunited might have been like in '92 by Cousin Brucey at the Meadowlands.
Easy.
Yeah. Cousin Brucey was a famous East Coast DJ. I was at WABC, I think he was.
Yeah. Then the oldie station, CBS FM.
CBS 101. Yeah.
And now he's nationwide, or was on Sirius. He's
alive. Cousin Brucey is 185 years old and alive.
So is his toupee. That's alive, too.
Hey, that thing would never die. It will withstand hurricane winds. Because Brucey's wigs don't come off.
That's right.
Okay. So, Mark, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Who's Larry Collins?
No relation to Phil Collins.
Okay.
And he's not the bass player from Funkadelic. That was when I first saw it. I was thinking, Larry Collins died at 79. He started in the 1950s in a duo with his sister called the Collins Kids. The first time I saw him was from Perry. Perry forwarded me a video, and I see this girl, nice young girl, strumming a guitar.
Yeah, playing acoustic. Yep.
Yeah, and there's this 10-year-old kid. He's definitely looks like he's on tons of caffeine or he's got ADD or something, and he's jumping around her in circles with a double neck. And
double neck Mosrite guitar. Yep.
And I'm like, holy cow! Like, where did this come from? In the 50s, you know? And I was fascinated with them. Yeah, so the Collins kids were up, but their problem, I think, was they were too rock and roll for country, too country for rock and roll. And they might have been too dangerous when they were trying to make country, you know, more traditional, you know, whatever. But they had some hits, you know, not huge hits, but musicians seemed, not me, I didn't know about him until my late 40s, thanks to Perry, but he did. I'll just hold this up. I know the listeners can't see it, but that's what he played as a double neck. Now, for a kid that short,
it's a small kid.
Yeah, you know, I came up with the exact same picture with the little double neck Mosrite guitar.
Now, am I correct? Is the headstock look like a Fender-ish headstock, where it's they call it the tuning machines are all lined up?
Yeah, Mosrite. Yeah, they.
Again, interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
where was he from?
I
don't know if he mentioned it. Sorry.
Oh, he did. They played the Town Hall Party, which was a TV show in Los Angeles. Now I don't know if they're from California, but
maybe I think they were from La Jolla, California, or something.
Okay, so it was that.
I don't know. I'm guessing somewhere in that
area. That's a real dangerous country scene. You know, you think about it. That was the stuff that predated.
That's more like the Bakersfield scene. Yeah, that's so far from Nashville.
Yeah.
Buck Owens.
But you know, he was Dick Dale. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know who he is. He said that Larry Collins' staccato finger picking, it was a major influence on his playing and on the evolution of surf music. Then there's a guitarist named Deke Dickerson. Do you know him? I forget what band he's in. But he claims that their 1958 single "Whistlebait" anticipated punk rock by some 2 decades. He has a point.
There's a great video out there of Deke Dickerson, who, by the way, played a double neck Mosrite guitar.
There you go.
Oh, really?
And they were playing dueling together with the kid. And,
wow.
You can find it out there on YouTube. Deke Dickerson with Larry Collins. Yep.
Oh, cool. I'll check it out. Yeah.
No relation. Who's the guy that played with Prince? Was it Des Dickerson? A relative?
No, I don't know. Deke Dickerson is one of these, you know, country kind of guitar. And he's still around, by the way. I think I saw him on the Marty Stewart show one time with Kenny Vaughn, like doing some wacky stuff. You know, they would switch hands because of the double neck, you know.
Yeah.
My hands go here, your hands go here, then we switch.
And don't forget, there's a kind of a connection in California between some of those earliest, I hate to say punk, but you know, there were bands from California that had the punk attitude. There's a connection between them and country. I'm thinking of a guy, Perry, the guy that gave me a solo album. I can't remember. King of California. I can't remember his name. But, you know, so I think that's who the people that picked up on his playing. They made it into the early 60s. They did actually perform on Grand Ole Opry. It didn't go over as well. Again, they were too. Also, she was 16 or 14 and singing songs that were very ambiguous. The lyrics were kind of shady, you know. But anyway, after they broke up, Larry went on solo, and he actually became a songwriter, and he co-wrote Delta Dawn, the Helen Reddy song, which surprised me.
Big hit. Delta Dawn. What's that flower? Yeah, great one.
Yep. And he also wrote a song called Tulsa Turnaround, which was popular by Kenny Rogers. I don't know that song, but it was evidently a #1 song. So, you know, it's just like, what caused somebody in 1950s? Well, I gotta stop that. I shouldn't put down, just because it was the 50s doesn't mean people were dumb, but getting a kid a double neck guitar in the 50s, that's very different.
Yeah.
Yep. And I really like the music.
When did it start making? When they start manufacturing double neck guitars? When was Gibson doing it at that time, or
they would do a couple? Like, you know, I've seen a Fender. I saw an interesting, like they do it, but there's a spec. They make 1 or 2 of them. You know, like these are custom guitars for these people. And I saw an interesting Fender one, like. The top half was like a Stratocaster cutaway, and the bottom half was a Tele cutaway. So it's like it's a double neck. Wow. It was like half Strat, half Tele. You know,
that's
like
a Frankenstein
double neck. Yeah.
I guess double necks were popularized by Jimmy Page. That was the first guitar player I think that was really out there. and people started to buy them. So I think they actually started to mass produce double necks in the 70s.
You know, a lot of people forgot that when he played that Link Ray song "Rumble" at the Grammys, he used that double. That's the one he used on at Madison Square Garden. Like the song remains the same. That's the same Gibson SG double neck that he used.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then another reason in the 70s why so many guitarists used them is like nowadays you really don't need a double neck because the effects and everything. You can get a nice acoustic sound. But back then it was required. It was really necessary. You weren't going to put that thing on your shoulders unless you really had a reason to use it.
And then Rick Nielsen, not to be outdone, had to have 5 necks on his guitar.
Yeah. But I mean, Jimmy Page had a 12-string. You know, he'd go from the 12-string to the 6-string.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know about Larry Collins, but there's like. One of them is a higher pitch. One of them, top little one, might have been like a mandolin, a mando. I don't know.
They're both 6-string guitars, but one is
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they're in different pitches, I'm sure. Yep.
Now the double necks that I liked, Geddy Lee played a Rickenbacker bass and guitar. It was bass on top, guitar on the bottom. Remember that, Lou?
Yes.
That's cool.
Those are custom made.
Yeah.
They're not marketed or.
They were selling them. They were a lot of money back then, though. So. But anyway,
Larry Collins,
Larry Collins.
Yep.
Check them out if anyone hasn't heard them. Good to listen to. Good to watch.
Look for that Deke Dickerson and Larry Collins dueling Mosrite double neck guitars. Yep.
I'm writing it down.
Now, Geddy Lee, was he known for playing more of the Rickenbacker or the Fender jazz bass?
Rickenbacker
Fender jazz bass.
In the 70s, he was a Rick guy, Rickenbacker, and then the 80s he got into the Fender, I think, right? Because the old stuff, 2112.
I think the jazz bass was around for longer.
Well, the uniqueness of Fender jazz bass is that it's thick here. By the time you get down to the bottom, the neck is only like that. It's very small.
Okay.
That's the uniqueness about a Fender jazz bass.
Cool. All right, man. Well, cool.
Cool.
When you mentioned Larry Collins, it's his name stuff. I'm like, jazz player. Before I knew who he was.
You're thinking Larry
sounds
Carlton.
like Carlton or Bootsy Collins. Yes. Okay. So here, as a drummer, I hope I've never made anyone's list of worst drummers. But there's a grouping of drummers that people don't consider good or not good for various reasons. Mm-hmm. And some are just like people, they don't. It's not their style of music. So if you don't like country rock, you may not think this person is a good drummer. Some people are into technique more than anything else.
Right.
A lot of people couldn't see the human side of Rush. Rush had a very big human side to them. It just the music was complicated, but some of those lyrics aren't as calculating as they seem to be. Some are, but some aren't. Anyway, so there were some names that come up, and people mention Meg White, and she gets derided a lot, and only because of the simplicity of it. They're almost considered a kind of a gimmick in retrospect, are they? I mean, the White Stripes had some great songs, and they made an impact, but it was something where she wasn't considered like, a lot of people think rock drummers that are no good are like Charlie Watts. And people go, what was so good about Charlie Watts? What was so good about Ringo? What you say about Max Weinberg. But, it's whatever, your reasons for this, my reasons for that, Mark's reasons for that. Yep. So Meg White, I mean, is she bad or is she,
No, she's perfect for what Jack White was writing and what the White Stripes were doing. She's perfect for it.
I agree.
Didn't need a lot.
I agree with Perry.
Exactly.
And she may not have been a virtuoso, but when you don't have anyone else on stage but your brother or husband playing, you can't screw up. You got to keep the beat. So she could keep the beat. She never went off, But that annoyed me, that whole shtick of guitar and drums without a bass player. I don't know. It just bothered me. It's like they're trying to be too niche. It's like
Duo Jets, the White Stripes, Black Keys. It was just a thing, man. It's not bad.
Do you know who started it?
Who?
Sotmeter Singh and myself as Shift. We started all that shit.
There you go.
Black Duo Jets, I think we're around a little bit before Shift, but okay.
Harry, I think the Black Keys are
I have the Shift record, by the way. No, it's a Sot record.
It's a good record.
Yeah.
I think the Black Keys are much. They're not. They've gone beyond it. They sound. They flesh it out better.
Yeah. And Dan Auerbach's. Produced Chrissy Hind. They're like, he's a producer, and it's Nashville too, by the way.
Patrick Carney is also a producer, engineer. How to get sound out of the two guys.
He's a good drummer too. I think.
Now, Yeah. He's a real solid guy.
Yeah.
He's very self-deprecating, by the way. I read an interview. He goes, I'm terrible at the drums. But it's kind of funny. I heard an interview with them on the radio, and the interview goes, so what is the as far as the Black Keys, what is your mission statement? That's something you don't ask a band.
Yeah.
So Patrick Carney goes, like, you mean like customer service or something? It was a really smart ass answer, but it was pretty funny. Meg White, she filled in some sound.
Yeah, sure.
It worked fine. Okay, now this one of the band Kiss, the original drummer Peter Criss, I think for the band he was in, I think he was pretty bad.
Me too.
Okay,
I agree. He's a shit drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Shit drummer, and any of the band members will tell you that too. By the way, yeah.
He was in the wrong band actually. He should have been in a different band, maybe like an R&B. Whatever pop he did after that. But that's one of the reasons, like, when Kiss came around, like, some of the songs were catchy enough. I heard some there, but the drumming always bothered me. That was before I was a drummer. Like, something just didn't. It seemed weak.
And if you listen to like a song Mark doesn't like, but I like, is Rock and Roll Night and Party Every Day. The drums are horrible on that.
They're
pedestrian.
Horrible. They sound pedestrian.
Yeah.
And like if I learn to play drums, like, I got it, guys.
Right, yeah.
And there's that part where they go back into the verse. That to me always sounds like I think Bob Ezrin said, this is all I can do. All right.
Yeah, that was actually before Bob Ezrin.
I will signal you when the one comes in.
They had a couple of guys producing them on those first 3 records. Yeah.
Oh, that was before Bob Ezrin.
Yeah. Then they did the live album. Then Bob Ezrin did Destroyer with them after the live album.
Do you think Do you think he said to Paul and Gina that, like, you got to get rid of the drummer?
Well, they did start using session drummers around that time.
Okay, yeah.
Anton.
True.
Anton. Calling Anton.
Anton Fig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Anton Zip, as David Letterman will call him on the show. Anton Zip. Okay, so moving on. This was a list of some guy named Steve Hoffman. It was his compilation he compiled from people. Nick Mason got mentioned on there, and I think that's bullshit. I think he's a very good drummer.
He got mentioned as a crappy drummer?
Yeah. Like, inadequate, or just a guy that just keeps the,
that's a Pink Floyd detractor, probably.
Probably a Pink Floyd detractor, and just basically lumped him together with Ringo.
Nick Mason, he's not the flashiest drummer, but he definitely has his own style. If you listen to those drum fills, nobody else
doesn't need flash.
No, and I can tell you that Roger Waters, I've seen him on most of his tours since, and when he does the Floyd songs, he's got this really great drummer. Doesn't sound the same. Like, you got this great virtuoso drummer, but it's not sounding the same at all. I mean, I miss Nick Mason.
Guys like Nick Mason, they were really good, but they weren't super professional. Not that they were amateurs and stuff, but I know who he's got playing drums. It's one of these really professional guys that could do. Yeah. He could do a session, like someone sends him a file of a session, he records the drums in 30 seconds. One of those. I'm not saying they're not good,
but I mean they were like the shoegazers, Pink Floyd. I mean, there's no need for flash.
Yeah. But I mean, music, rhythm, it's about a groove, and Nick Mason had a good groove.
Yeah,
songs,
absolutely.
And to play at slow tempos and to keep a slow tempo is not easy.
Especially that song "Money," where it goes into the and then it goes back to the 4/4 rock thing. Like, that's great drumming.
Yeah.
I think David Gilmour brought up one time. Listen closely to "Time." And it's true. His playing on that is sublime.
Sure.
Yes,
it
is.
Real.
Yep.
And
it is.
That's a perfect example of Nick Mason.
For what they were writing and what they were doing is perfect. Yeah.
Yep. And not unaccomplished. We saw that video where he loses he hurls this. He must have cracked the stick and threw it over his shoulder.
Where were they, in Pompeii or something?
Yeah.
They were in the ruins of the Acropolis. Okay. You're Acropolis.
Got another crappy drummer?
Yes, someone who's considered just too basic to be interesting. Phil Rudd, the original drummer of AC/DC. I think he's very good. He has a feel. And if a lot of drummers are great, even the more technical ones. I don't think Carl Palmer has a great feel personally. But
Carl's he's all over the place.
He's a very technically accomplished drummer. But Phil Rudd has a down groove. You shook me. There's a reason why such a simple song has endured.
He was still in the band at that point? After Bon Scott died, he was still there?
Yeah, he was there. He was there up until the mid-'80s, I think, right?
Yeah. Then Chris Slade replaced him.
Yeah.
The other one is Hell's Bells. Just listen to how he comes in. Boom, boom. But it's not.
downbeats.
We're not talking Neil Peart,
Yeah.
but we're talking. He's perfect for the song. He's not a crappy drummer. No way.
So yeah,
Not at all.
he's a good drummer. I think Phil wrote. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, how about Donald Henley of the band The Eagles?
So
I would
this
say the
site
Eagles.
or wherever you got this info from says that John Henley's a crappy drummer.
He said, "There's one thing." He said, "He goes very uninteresting, uncreative. He lays it down well enough, but he said, it just basically said like just very uncreative, uninspired
I
of sorts.
disagree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I disagree too. I'm thinking Hotel California.
I'm not going to feed the
Yeah.
machine and start arguing with the guy that Don Henley was good. You know.
And even if you're not an Eagles fan, like even on like say the Hotel California, some of those songs at the end, those slower ballad songs, "Wasted Time."
Yeah.
If you said that wasn't Don Henley and that was Jim Keltner or someone on drums, people would be like, "Yeah, that was really good, man."
Yeah.
There's a
Good point.
preconception, well, especially with the Eagles because they can do nothing right in
But if
people's eyes. A
Carl
lot of ways.
Palmer's your favorite drummer, you're going to think Don Henley's shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
Case in point, the Eagles never got a studio drummer.
That's true.
You know?
And
They
he
might
did
have-
play with Guns N' Roses for a song.
never.
Really?
They never. Actually, the Eagles never
Right?
used anybody else, but every record was somebody in the band, right?
They had a few fights about it,
far
but
as
they
drums,
always
yeah.
used. Yeah.
Sure. Interesting though. Yeah.
They had the Jim Ed Norman is a arranger and piano player. He played on some of the Hotel California, the big epic songs.
Well, that's right. They didn't have, otherwise, because Glenn Fry used to play a little bit of, but they never really had a key organ player or anything like that, right?
No. I have a question. If you're not an Eagles fan, I think Hotel California is one of the pinnacle 70s records just because of what it was.
Yeah.
Are there any clunkers on Hotel California?
I'm,
Even if you don't,
I might be-
Life in
I
the
might be-
Fast Lane's overdone. Really. So
I was gonna say
you know
that,
what I mean?
but I could still though. But I don't say it's a bad song. But they have some of like epic those wasted time. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think there's any clunkers. That's
I don't think so
almost
either.
a perfect album.
No.
yeah,
Randy-
I'm not a fan of the record. It just got over. It was just too much for me.
Yeah.
Overexposure, so I
sure.
just shut it down.
Sure.
It's like Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the individual songs that that Don Henley sang the majority of the record, but Glenn Fry sang one lead vocal. New Kid in Town, #1.
Oh, I love that song.
Written with J.D. Souther.
New
and
Kid in
others.
Town is on Hotel California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good song. I like
Yeah,
that song.
it is
Yeah.
a good song.
Yeah.
And Randy Meisner had "Try and Love Again." Great song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Glenn Fry plays a guitar solo. And even Joe Walsh has Pretty Maids All in a Row. Bob Dylan has said that is one of his favorite songs of all
Really?
time.
I love
Beautiful.
it.
It's a beautiful melody. I mean, really.
And
Okay.
incidentally, it's just something quick about the Eagles. I have a DVD. It was their first farewell tour, and they labeled it that because they said it's our first farewell tour, And they were in Australia, and I was surprised how much Fender Rhodes crap. Glenn Fry. I
Glenn
forgot
Fry
his
played,
name for a second. I was surprised at how many songs he was there over on the side playing the Fender Rhodes, and he was
Fender
good.
Rhodes.
Good. Yeah.
Oh,
Like, I can't tell you why.
I'll take the Wurlitzer electric piano any day over Fender Rhodes. When I hear Fender Rhodes, I think of Billy Joel. Go changing. That's right. When I hear Fender with the Wurlitzer is Ray Charles. That's Ray Charles. That's the Wurlitzer. That's got some soul too.
I might be wrong. It could be a Wurlitzer. I just so sick of
No, it's a Fender Rhodes. It's cheesy. Yeah.
But he plays a lot, and he's, I was shocked. Like, good number of songs, and I forgot. I didn't realize, like, did he do it in the studio? I don't know. Was he playing it?
Yeah.
The Fender Rhodes sound is Paul Simon. That's Paul Simon. That's the
Right.
Fender Rhodes. It's more mellow. It's
Yeah.
very mellow.
I'm not a big fan of electric piano sounds. Pianos.
The Wurlitzer, though, has bite
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
On our Yamaha keyboards, I don't think we have really good electric piano sounds. to me.
I don't think
Unless
so
you
either,
alter
yeah.
them.
Yep.
Run them through the Cuisinart.
So Don Henley's a good drummer, right?
Don
Yeah.
Henley is a good drummer.
Yep.
And also a singing drummer. So but bear in mind that when he's,
Yeah.
he sang
number
most
two
of the
behind
Hotel
Levon, right?
What's that?
He's number 2 behind Levon.
As far as being good singing,
Yeah.
Don Brewer is very good too because, singing some
Yeah.
hard rock and breathing and singing like that and singing
Yeah.
powerfully, and Gil Moore from Triumph,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
I forgot
there's a
about
bunch. Okay, how about this one? Pete Best before we hit the Beatles.
Oh,
He
boy.
was a bad Beatle and a bad drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed
we
on
have
all
proven
counts.
that. Yeah, we took a hit from YouTube just to prove the point that you
Pete
go. He's
Best.
not. Yeah, good Paul. Yeah. And the point I always made that when they did their when Ringo had appendicitis, and they got Jimmy Nickel, they didn't ask Pete to come back and play.
Yeah.
He was in a band after they fired his ass from the Beatles. He was in a band, and then
Yeah.
the band they made one single, and it didn't work out. Then he renamed the band the Pete Best Four. You know,
Yeah.
it didn't go anywhere. Then it was the Pete Best Combo. Didn't go anywhere. They
The
came
Pete
to
Be-
America as the Pete Best Combo. Like, dude, you're bad news, man.
Yeah, then it was the Pete Best Deluxe combo because that came with fries.
I told you, I saw a picture of them, and like the Beatles all had. This is like '62, I guess, just
Yes,
before they
that-
bagged.
that-
They all
that's
had
Beatles
bangs, and he still got that stupid duck ass
It's got his DA.
1950s, haircut, the
Yeah.
Lords of Flatbush haircut.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, his little brother to this day is still out there, and he gets interviewed on BBC, and he's talking about the Beatles like he's this big authority on the Beatles. It's his Pete Best little brother, but he's making a little career out of it, I guess.
Well,
you know?
sure,
And,
yeah.
his little brother is the offspring of Neil Aspinall, the Beatles wrote. Sure. Scandalous. All right. Okay, so this one, Lars Ulrich. I read something interesting about Lars Ulrich yesterday,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's a bad drummer. I think he's very big. He's like the Ringo of heavy metal. I don't know.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that. I don't like him. I don't like his drum sound. I don't like,
No, I don't like his sound.
But he does
He's
keep
bad.
the beat, and he can play fast when he has to,
Yeah.
but it's not my style of drumming,
Lars
but,
Ulrich.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think he's that good a drummer. Tell you the truth.
He's not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's more than adequate for Metallica. I mean, like the same thing. I don't think people have ever said, if Metallica would be a great band if they had another drummer. I don't think that's ever been the case.
no, not at all. Yeah.
Although I saw a video of the drummer with Slayer playing with them.
He's amazing. He's a good drummer when it comes to that stuff.
I mean, I thought it was a little more interesting, but hey,
Yeah.
I'm
what?
not in Metallica.
Metallica have backed themselves into a corner. They're getting older, and they can never do anything different.
Yeah,
They always got to do fast or slow plotting. And don't call them Led Zeppelin of the time, because Led Zeppelin was so much more multifaceted.
And I mean, the guitar solos by that guy, what's his name?
Kirk Hammett.
I mean, they're like, really? They're starting to all sound the same. They're starting to, run into each other. You know what I mean? Like, he's no Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page is a creative lead guitar player.
Yeah, I think he's told what to play, frankly. I think when he's in the studio, they say, Kirk, do it this way. I think,
Do that shredding thing we did. Now, I read somewhere, like, people have been given Lars Ulrich a little more leniency as far as being a drummer or not. But they all mentioned the drum sound on Saint Anger, which I did not realize was 20 years old already.
Horrible.
What he did, he wasn't using this. He threw the snare mechanism off the snare drum, so it's like a high pop tom tom.
Bonk, bonk. Yeah,
it can be used to affect. Robbie Robertson on his record, that's done a lot on the Robbie Robertson solo record. Somewhere down the Crazy River.
Yeah.
It's not the snares are thrown off. Levon did it on Tears of Rage, I believe, on music from Big Pink. So it's an interesting sound when done right. But I mean, for hard rock, it's kind of weird. But,
hey Lou, would you say that Bill Bruford, his classic sound, was that the same? Like, did he do the same thing to his snare? He had a very tight snare sound, Bill Bruford.
He might have done it at times, but it might just be like a snare. I mean, I like my snare drum tuned tight because that's how you get bounce. The drums are supposed to bounce.
Yeah.
That's my issue with like a lot of rehearsal studio kits. You might as well be playing on a pair of diapers. It's just
Well, that's the thing.
you can't do a roll.
I mean, like, how do you? It's like, it's not a guitar. People like their drums tuned a certain way. You go to rehearsal studios, like, you got to retune the drums.
Everybody's different. I would horse around with them, but I think the overall, like, for like rehearsal studio, when we were going to those pay for places, like Sounds, etc. It was the big kit.
The rock and roll kit. Yeah,
the rock kit. The tom toms are too fucking big.
Yeah,
all of them.
Hey Lou, when you sat down, did you go, "Do you want to rock"?
I felt really short. I felt
you were high enough. He would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so lastly, of the Byrds, the original Byrds, Michael Clark, he got panned as the guy that just, I guess the thing is when you didn't record your first few singles because the Wrecking Crew did, that was just business practice and standard back then.
Yeah, yeah.
But in truth, I mean, in my opinion, he was a percussionist, a conga player before the Byrds, and he was had a very loose feel. Had a good feel. I thought he had a good groove. He was very creative, very inventive. One of my favorite Byrd songs is "Feel a Whole Lot Better," and I love the way he plays on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And 8 Miles High. The drumming on that, it's jazz, really,
So
really
that's him.
jazzy.
That's him.
That's
Okay.
Michael Clark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
I
had
like
to add an
drumming,
E to the end of his name because Gene Clark was also in the Byrds, but Gene Clark was Clark.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You
he
know,
was
this
also
guy, this author has the mindset I had when I was 18 or 20. If a musician wasn't like a virtuoso, I didn't want to hear him. So if you asked me when I was 18, what do you think of Don Henley? I'd go, he sucks. You know, I would have said that this guy's got that mentality,
But-
you know?
yeah. And this particular
Their first single was the Dylan cover, right?
Mr. Tambourine Man.
Right. So you understand that they brought in the Wrecking Crew for that because they wanted to make sure it was a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't,
No, but no, in Turn, that's the whole Byrds.
right. Yeah.
And where it took the Wrecking Crew, I think maybe 3 takes. 3 takes to make a classic.
Right. And it would take 70 takes of the other
It
band.
was
right?
like 70, 72
Yeah.
something just to get that intro. 'Cause,
Wasted a lot of tape. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and probably Crosby being difficult.
Yeah, really?
Probably.
Yeah.
A
Now,
young Crosby.
Because when the drums come in on Turn, it's, I mean, it's the last second you could possibly hit that drum, and that was a producer, whoever it was.
Yeah. And I like, by the way, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. I like his songs the least. David Crosby.
Cut My Hair. Cut My Hair sounds dated.
I like his first solo
It's
album.
silly. Almost cut my hair. Silly.
It is.
Well, it wasn't silly in '69 though. I mean, you have to put it in its context. There was,
You know what song? They sing one of my most hated songs, Our House.
Our
I
House.
can't stand that song.
yeah.
That's one of those. I don't want to hear that shit anymore.
Yeah.
La la, childish melody too. La 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 la. la. All right, all right, Graham. We know you're British.
I like Graham Nash, but that song made him to be like a total wimp. I mean, they was just so soft.
Yeah.
But I think that paid the bills for a lot of them for a long time.
Yeah.
That-
You and
that-
Tony bought a vase. I know.
Now,
Blah, blah, blah.
we mentioned that Crosby never had many big hits, so
That's true.
his royalties and his song catalog was not nearly as valuable as as everyone else there.
What did he do? Wooden Ships, Crosby?
Wooden Ships, yeah.
He wrote Wooden Ships. And
That's a good song.
Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, I think. Or
Oh, really? I thought that was Graham. I thought that was Steve Still's song, Sweet
Might
Judy
be.
Blue Eyes.
maybe I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
It's such a strange song. I know we've heard it ad nauseum, but if you ever examine it as a song, it's a strange song. It's not a normally written song.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, maybe that's why it's called Sweet
Yeah,
Judy
thank you.
Blue Eyes.
Harry, pointing out the obvious to me.
yeah.
You're right.
Yep.
No, Steve Stills was a guy with he had world music influences, a lot of South American stuff.
Who?
Steve Stills.
Yeah.
Fantastic guitar player. Fantastic.
Yeah. And I do have to say, though, Love the One You're With, I never liked that song.
Yeah, I remember hearing that on the radio. I'm like, yeah, okay. I dug the organ part and shit. But I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. But that was a cover, too, wasn't it? Or did he write that song?
I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know.
In Sammy Hagar's autobiography, he talks about having a birthday bash at Cabo Wabo, and Steve Stills came down, and he was dressed in a black suit, like white shirt, black jacket, and black pants. He came over, and he was already high as a kite. He went, "Hey, man," and he walked off. It disappeared for the whole weekend. They didn't know where he went, and then when it was all over, he walked back. He had been out wherever in Mexico, just walking around.
That's another thing I'm tired of hearing.
With
Is
the
Sammy and Cabo. Shut up about Cabo and your tequila or whatever it
it's
is.
great.
Like,
Hey,
No.
it kept
put a
him
pair of
young.
fucking shoes on, by the way, Sammy, too, once in a while.
So,
Actually, it's not tequila anymore. It's vodka now. It does vodka. So.
Vodka makes me do the devil's work.
Yeah.
I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work.
Yeah.
I heard if you say Cabo 50 times into a mirror, Sammy appears. Cabo, Cabo, Cabo.
No, how come he's constantly dissing Dave now?
Dave said he was anally probed by aliens. Dave's an
Dave
idiot.
needs some press too.
It's pretty
so,
funny.
You're feeding the machine.
I
if
know.
You go
but
for
it-
the,
well,
you're-
it's pretty funny. I mean,
Yeah.
are they going to tour with that
I
Eddie
heard
now?
that too. Yeah.
I
Are they going
fully
to do
think
dual lead vocals? I think Dave's commentary was funny though. But it seems like Sammy to me is making allusions to David's sexuality. I'm going to say that on the Music Relish show.
I just think that
he's done that before. He's done that before.
I think that maybe
Come
they're
on.
not as big enemies as we think. Like Perry hit the nail on the head. Whenever they diss like this, Blabbermouth puts it, and it's clickbait and it keeps Dave. Sammy doesn't need it, but Dave does need to stay in social media.
And somebody will believe it,
So I think that there's been times when they have actually talked business, maybe, and they're agreeable to each other.
They didn't say shit to each other. Their managers said, like, let's just go back and forth this way.
Yeah, but can you imagine if they had the internet back in those days where you heard all those stupid rumors about Rod Stewart backstage?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, it's all detractors that make up the shit. Can you imagine if they had internet and cell phones back then in the Rod Stewart times?
Over.
It'd be This was just word of mouth. I heard that story. You heard that story. You heard. It's complete nonsense.
If Billy Squire put out that Rock Me Tonight video today, he would still have his career ruined. That's a fucker for the ages.
Those pink
Billy
shirts.
Squire?
Billy Squire.
Those pink shirts will be all over the Gap. The Gap will be selling pink shirts.
Career suicide.
There's nothing personal. There's nothing personal there.
All right. So you're wearing pink satin pants, but did you have to play a pink guitar?
You don't have to rip your shirt like that.
Really? And did you have to lay on the bed like a woman?
All right.
So do you think after his career fell apart after that video, Peter Frampton called him up and said, "You fucked up," and I know how you feel.
Well, I got to tell you, I recently read an interview with Peter Frampton, and he actually said, one of the biggest mistakes he made was "I'm in You," that record that he put out. He said he knows that was a huge mistake that he made.
Yeah.
Apparently, he said he took the master tapes, threw it on the couch at the record company office, and said, "Here it is." They hated it. They hated it, but they put it out, and he knew that was a huge mistake.
He produced it, though.
He did.
That it was huge. Well, that may be one of the mistakes that he also.
He produced it, which was a big no-no, and also he was feeling pressure to follow up that live album too. It was probably
pressure.
He was pressured to follow up "Baby, I Love Your Way."
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm in You is a love song. There's some guitar in it, and actually, drummer John Cielmos died recently.
Oh, okay.
But not Bob Mayo.
Because in the interview, he's talking about the drummer, and he said, "May God, God rest his soul," or something. Yep.
I think he was a good rock drummer.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, was he the one on Frampton Comes Alive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great playing.
I agree.
And for a couple of years,
the whole band. I mean, Frampton's a fine guitar player. He really is.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his guitar playing. Tell you the truth,
he's very unique. When he does the solo, he's got these little jazzy notes, which is very unique sound.
You can tell the jazz influence in his playing.
Yeah,
not unlike Bob Welch.
Yes. Good point.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Good connection.
It sounds almost like Native American.
Hey, good observation.
Speaking of Buffy St. Marie,
Buffy, yes. Let's talk about her next.
She a vampire?
You're the Hearst with the Merst.
I'm the Hearst. So I think that's it for. Oh, this other on another list. Someone mentioned Ginger Baker. Overrated, overplayed.
Oh, please.
And it's just, like you said, it's the same clickbait.
They want an internet argument for the clicks. Yeah,
they want an internet argument, but I also think I do think there's a degree of ignorance there. Just basically saying, every time I hear a Cream song, I heard I heard White Room today. I always hear something different, and I'm wondering, we've heard White Room a million times. Mm-hmm. There's a part at the end where they're jamming that part out there, the bass drum goes really, really loud and then goes back down. I don't know if that was intended. You know what I'm talking about?
I love the fact. I used to tell you he's a tribal drummer, kind of like Mick Fleetwood, because they use a lot of the lower registered drums, a lot of the toms, a lot of the bass, the bass drums.
When I was at CPI in Hillsdale, we actually made one of his cassettes for a label. He was on these really small labels, and I have the CD somewhere of it. It's really good because he just does, like you said, Perry, his tribal rhythms. And he's got this band in front of him. They're all, I don't want to say jazzy, but they weren't rock. And he just kept doing these.
He loved African rhythms. He's been to Africa many times, exploring African rhythms, just like Stuart Copeland and people like that. They love rhythms.
Now, a lot of those English drummers did that because, if you live in London, the Clash, Neil Peart went to England to live there to become a professional musician.
Yeah.
But he loved a lot of those American drummers that were influenced by that. Stuart Copeland's another guy. He was raised in England, wasn't he? Didn't he live in England as a kid or wherever in Lebanon because his father was a assassin?
him and his brother.
Diplomat.
Miles,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Ginger, in a
And
way,
Mick Fleetwood.
I was going to say Mick Fleetwood reminds me a little in a way of Ginger. They both love to go to Africa, and Mick Fleetwood recorded a whole album in Africa too. He was pursuing that.
I wouldn't call Mick Fleetwood a virtuoso.
No, not at all.
But I call him
excellent,
I'd call him a
sublime
tribal drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sublime drummer. Ginger Baker was a virtuoso.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like Clapton said, a fully formed musician.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So like I said, people are sometimes poking for reactions. Okay, so that's as far as
Yeah.
I think it was a good discussion on the assessment of drummers.
It was. Yeah.
We don't have to talk about Ringo or anything like that.
I guess we agreed on one. We just all agreed that one really was shit. It was Pete Best.
Peter Criss and Pete
Chris,
Best.
the two Pete's.
And Peter
Yeah.
Criss, that's right.
Pete makes shit drummers. Yeah.
Can we find another shitty Peter drummer? What was the drummer for Ellis Costello? Well, he wasn't shit.
Pete.
Thomas.
Pete Campbell.
Pete Campbell.
No, Pete Thomas was the bass player, wasn't he?
No, that was Steve Neve. No, he was a keyboard player.
No, Steve Naive was
There
the
were
keyboard player.
were there
yeah.
two Steves in the band? Anyway,
Yeah.
I should know that.
Anyway.
So, Per, do you have anything random?
Yes, I do.
Got some random relish?
I have some Dandem Deli.
Some random dervish?
Let me find my notes
Do
here.
you have some dill relish?
I do.
That's your,
I had
that's
dill
your
this
country name,
morning.
isn't it?
I had dill
That's
on my
dill
breakfast.
relish.
I made smoked salmon on bagels with dill on top.
Nice.
I thought it was
Wow.
show.
Is that lox?
I have a random thing. I read an interview with this guy that you've been talking about. This guy who replaced Don Felder in the Eagles, Stuart Smith.
Stuart Smith.
Yeah.
And he spells his name really weird. He spells his name Steuart. It's like,
Yes.
Stuart. But he's a
What?
really good guitar. He's been in the Eagles for 20 years.
He's almost too good.
He's almost he's a shapeshifter. He really
he's
is.
a record producer. He's a studio musician. He produced records for Rodney Crowell, and he's friends with all these people. He produced a record for Melissa, what's her name? The one from Kansas, Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah.
Roseanne Cash, Sean Colvin.
Yeah.
Johnny Came Home.
Johnny Came Home.
Like he plays that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's been a session guy for Joni Mitchell and Vince Gill and all guys like that. And he was saying one time he was doing he's an arranger too. He's also an arranger. And he said one time the interesting thing, I didn't know this, that in Nashville, apparently the norm in Nashville is to plug your guitar directly into the board.
Really?
Yeah.
They have these big giant boxes in the studio. You plug it in there and it goes into the board. No amps, no amplifiers.
Yeah, but it's not like plugging your bass into the board. They're getting processed righteously, right?
Well, there's a big box there and then it goes, correct, right. But
Yeah. They're doing
so
it
he
to
was
be
saying
fun.
one time he was in the studio in Nashville
Weird.
and I forgot what session it was on, but he had his amplifier there. And the engineer actually came up to him and had a microphone in his hand. He goes, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
Oh, man.
Wow.
Because and the norm in Nashville was plugging
Wow.
into the
Plug it
board,
right in.
no amplifiers.
Wow.
And of course,
Back
he
to the left
he
hand.
brought his amp. It was a Fender Twin or whatever it was. The engineer actually said, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
Wow. Wow. Some cyborg.
Because the studio engineers never had the mic amplifiers
So
back in
that's
Nashville.
That's a lost art now of mic placement on guitar amps with these engineers in Nashville. A lot of them don't know.
Yep.
But they know how to tweak it electronically.
So is that why all these modern country Nashville country rock songs sound like they came out of a can? It just sounds like pre-processed, high volume,
Yep.
high threshold across the country. No matter where you are driving,
Yes.
you can hear this.
Yes.
shit.
Equivalent of
You
pop and
can't
R&B.
tell.
Of course
you can't
can.
tell,
No.
like, that's a Fender Twin or that's a Vox
Nah.
because
No.
all they say all sound the fucking same.
It may
You
not
know?
even be it may not even be a Telecaster.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, that's probably mostly Telecasters.
Now they're
isn't it?
faking that too.
Yeah, but I also know Spooner Oldham. Right, we've all heard of Spooner Oldham.
That's a
right?
weird name.
Keyboard
He likes
player
to-
extraordinaire,
He
right?
likes to
And,
spoon.
Was he into spooning?
Yeah.
No, that's his nickname.
Did you wake up and tour in some hotel? And he
No,
was
his
spooning
real name
you?
is like Donald Oldman or something, or Kevin, whatever.
Okay.
But his nickname is Spooner.
Planes,
But
trains, and automobiles.
he
He's a
toured
junkie.
with Dylan, toured with Neil Young, but a studio guy. He was a studio guy. He was a Muscle Shoals guy, at Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals.
Mm-hmm.
That's where.
Okay.
Right.
So, Spooner Oldham. Percy Sledge. When a man loved. That's Spooner Oldman on the organ.
On the organ.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, yep. That's Spooner Oldman on Wilson Pickett. Mustang Sally. Spooner Oldman
Roger Hawkins on drums.
on the organ. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Screaming
that was the
Roger?
Muscle Shoals. I forgot what the band was called, but that was them. Yeah.
Did they have a name?
They
There's the Funk Brothers. Wait, were they part of the... Wait. No, the Funk Brothers were Stax.
Yeah, that
No,
was
no.
nice. This was Muscle Shoals. They were called the Memphis Boys, or no, they were called the
Memphis Mafia.
no.
No,
That's
that's all
the Muscle Shoals is like in Alabama. Yeah,
Right.
I forgot what they. I'll find the name, but yeah. So he plays. He's the organ on When a Man. Spooner Oldman. Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
And he's played with the Stones, of course.
Uh,
Is that what you said?
no, Neil Young, Bob
Neil Young.
Dylan.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Neil Young's guy for quite a while. He's still alive though. He's also a songwriter. He co-wrote the Box Tops. When I think about the good love you made me, cry
Really?
Cry Like a Baby.
Spooner Oldman is a co-writer on that song. Yep.
Wow.
Who played the sitar
Yeah.
on that?
The sitar was played, but the electric sitar was played by.
Alex?
No. Alex, he just sang it. And they said he was 17 years old when he sang that song.
Yeah. Yep. Salyanovsky. No, who's the guy? From
So they recorded the song, and then Alex came in to sing it. No Box Tops. The other guys didn't play on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like, wow, this guy is, so he's toured with Bob Dylan and Neil Young a lot. So these guys, like, he also wrote, remember the song, he was a co-writer in I'm Your Puppet. Remember that song? It was Spooner Oldman co-wrote that song too.
Really? Oh, cool.
With one of his guys, with one of his co-writers named Dan Penn, who's also a record producer. Dan Penn, yep. Now that song, Cry Like a Baby by the Box Tops 1968. It was it was number 2, kept out of the number 1 spot by Bob the Girlsboro, Honey. And honey,
Oh, God, really?
see the tree, how big it's grown, but what the heck? Yeah.
And some silly late night show.
Yep.
That is a crime. I didn't know "Cry Like a Baby" actually hit that high on the charts.
Number 2.
So,
Yeah.
What about the letter?
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I'm surprised how many people older than me don't know that Joe Cocker didn't write the letter. You gotta
Luke,
be fucking kidding me, man.
I knew a guy that thought Joe Cocker wrote with a little help from my friends because he didn't realize the connection with the Beatles song.
Really?
I'm telling you, he worked at CPI, the cassette.
Ouch. Ouch.
And I had to explain to him
funny?
gently. Well, I explained to him gently that most of Joe Cocker's songs were covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them were, yeah.
Like Rod Stewart, too.
Did you ever see
he
that
was
Lee
Joe
Sklar
Cocker's,
bass?
Joe Cocker's coming up in a few minutes, actually. As
Oh,
next.
yeah?
Uh-huh.
Did you ever see that picture of that Lee Sklar bass guitar
Yeah.
with all the names on it? That bass guitar that has been on over 2,400 albums. It's one of those
Wow.
Willie Nelson type things. Everybody signs it, you know.
Is
It's
that the one
signed on the
with weird
head.
headstock?
What's that?
Doesn't Lee Sklar's signature bass have that weird headstock?
Yeah, but this is his. This is his main bass. It's a
Oh.
Fender Precision shape. He's had different pickups put in it, and the neck, it was a Fender P neck. He had it shaved to a Fender Jazz bass. Where it gets really small down at the lower frets. But that's his main bass. So he's got a signature bass manufactured by whatever
guys.
company.
This is Lee Sklar's signature. Whoop, I can't get it in the camera. That's
There it
signature,
goes.
The middle
Yeah.
finger.
Yeah.
He's
That's
got a
his thing.
coffee table
Yeah,
book.
he has a
with
coffee
all-
table book of photographs, or he will one day.
He does.
where,
Paul
he does?
McCartney, Tom Petty, Brian
Right.
Johnson, Rob Halford, all across the spectrum
Yeah.
of music, everyone giving him the finger. I love it.
Now, I think I've had this discussion with you guys in the past about Grand Funk Railroad opening for Led Zeppelin in Cleveland and Detroit. Their stomping ground, you know. And Led Zeppelin, Peter Grant was pissed. He told them get them off the stage because the crowd was loving them, you know. And apparently they say Peter Grant pulled the plug, like pulled the plug out.
I believe it.
And pulled the plug, I guess, on their amplifiers and you know, whatever. And Terry Knight came out and said they have to leave the stage, and they were tossing bottles, wine bottle, you know, whatever people brought to shows back then. A lot of wine bottles too, probably. You know?
Hey, cheers! Wine at a show.
Yep. And they were fired after 2 days.
I'm surprised Peter Grant didn't beat any of the band members up.
2 days they got fired.
Wow.
There were a lot of bottles of Boone's Farm apple wine there.
Oh, I just got ahead.
You said Terry Jacks came out and did something?
No, Terry Knight, their manager, came out. And, their manager and, you know, rip-off artist of, you know, their publishing rights or whatever. Yeah, but I have to say we you know, we get comments every now and again. Scott McLean from Milk Crates and Turntables.
I don't know.
Left us a comment. I guess he was watching episode 43 or one of the older episodes.
Why is he going back on us? Why is he doing that?
We were talking about duos, and we were talking about family bands and stuff. So he mentioned a few that we left out. Pet Shop Boys were a duo, and we didn't mention that. So the Pet Shop Boys were a duo.
I should have thought of that.
Well, what are you apologizing for?
Wait, what have we done to deserve this?
Yes. And Scott also mentioned that Devo was a family band, and I think Mark Mothersbaugh brother was the drummer or something.
See, I didn't know that.
The original Devo or something like that.
There was weren't the Casals? Weren't there two sets of brothers? There was John Cazale and there was the other one.
John Cazale and Al Pacino.
Fredo was into the Devo. Wasn't there two sets of brothers? It was just the Mothersbaugh brothers.
I don't know.
Like Van Gogh.
So then Dire Straits would have been a family band in the beginning too.
Yeah. The first three albums. CCR, yeah. The Osmond Brothers.
Yeah, and I think Scott has said that the Barge was a family band.
Yeah. Who cares?
And I don't know if we mentioned this. I'm surprised we didn't, but he said Cornelius Brothers and his sister Rose. We always mention that, right?
I mentioned that.
I think we mentioned that, right? Yeah.
Right. Scott, I want a retraction.
But
you're correcting Scott?
Thank you, Scott McLean. No, that wasn't a correction. That was just a comment that he left, and that's what comments are for. Absolutely.
I'm correcting Scott.
Yeah, Lou is correcting Scott.
Oh, well, I never. I have a correction. I have a correction to make, too.
Music relish correction.
I woke up with a correction.
Something I found out that was even more interesting than what'd you say, Lou?
I woke up with a correction today.
Morning correction.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't do it to me, guys. Don't do it to me.
No. I had said that. Now, Glenn Campbell, when he was on the road, he always played that Fender Bass 6, which is the 6-string Fender bass, right?
Yeah.
But recording Wichita Lineman, this is amazing. He borrowed a bass from Carol Kay, a Dan Electro bass, 4-string bass, and played that middle part on a bar.
Really?
Carol Kay, I guess, had a couple of basses with her. He took one of her Dan Electro basses and did it right there. Like, amazing.
He played it himself?
He played it on a Dan Electro bass.
I
don't know if it was a Longhorn bass or one of the regular with the double cutaway. I don't know which kind she had.
Because back then they used to rely on studio musicians, so I'm surprised. He was a.
We're all studio musicians.
He's a Wrecking Crew guy. Yeah, that's true.
The Wrecking Crew. He was the guy that could sing.
He knew them all. Yeah, he knew all. You know, Carol, can I borrow that Dan Electro bass? I got to do a middle part.
Carol King came up with that iconic bass, boom, 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 boom. And
Carol Kay.
Carol King. It's a Carol King, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
You know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
I know you know.
All right, so
I know that you know that I know that you know what I mean.
Here's a story I heard recently I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Frank Zappa had a problem with David Bowie.
No, really?
Yeah. And the problem was over Adrian Belew.
Ah, did he steal him?
Tell.
The great guitar player Adrian Belew, right?
Yeah.
King Crimson.
Now, Adrian Belew was in Zappa's band,
Mm-hmm.
and they toured. They were in Europe. In fact, they were in Germany. I think this is where they were touring all over Europe. And Bowie and Iggy were at the show, and excuse me, I'm talking a lot.
That's okay.
Bowie
That's
and
what we
Iggy
do.
are at the show, and David is looking for a new guitar player, so he's got his eyes on Adrian Belew, obviously. You know?
Yeah.
He's got the money.
So David says to Adrian, he goes, you know what? I'm looking for a guitar player. Would you like to be in my band? He goes, you know what? Meet me at the restaurant. Let's meet at this restaurant at 8 o'clock, whatever time. And Adrian's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. So David is meeting Adrian at the restaurant. Frank Zappa's in the same restaurant with his crew and the rest of the band.
Busted.
And Frank, David Bowie says to Frank, he goes, I'm looking. I'd like to have Adrian as my guitar player. Frank says, "Fuck you, Captain Tom."
Wow.
Yeah. And David's like, "Can't we be civilized?" He goes. Frank says, "Fuck you, Captain Tom," again. He's called him Captain Tom, which is an insult.
Really, Major Tom, yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
Shake Your Booty has a lot of live recording.
And Adrian Belew did join David's band.
Shake Your Booty had a lot of live recordings with Adrian Belew. He was perfect for Frank Zappa. But the best career move was going with David, because then he played with the Talking Heads. He played.
But Frank wanted to keep him on retainer. In other words, you just sit and do nothing until I need you.
Yeah.
You know, like that was.
I want a gig like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what the band. That's how the band lived in Woodstock. They were on retainer from Dylan, so they didn't have to have jobs, man. You get to play music all day and wreck cars.
Isn't Adrian Belew? Honest to God, he is one of the most. Like, when you first heard him, that was like whoa, like one of those guitar players. Like, there's no one else like him, and there'll be no one like him. He really is a unique individual.
Well, think about it. He plays with Zappa, plays with David Bowie, plays with Talking Heads. I mean,
King Crimson.
Crimson, yeah.
I had one of his records by his Ohio band, The Bears. I didn't like it.
Me neither. I have one too, and I just don't like it. I agree. Yeah. It's too. I don't know. David Bowie did that box set, Sound and Vision, and he went and he did a stadium tour. Bless him, he almost filled Giant Stadium, but not quite. And he did it as a quartet. It was a bass player, Adrian Belew, drummer, and David Bowie. I thought that took balls to do a stadium tour with just 4 guys. And Adrian Belew carried that show. He did the keyboard parts. He did everything. He was fucking awesome.
He's a multi-instrumentalist.
But it was 4 guys on stage.
Like a lot of them are. Yeah. Even David's a multi-instrumentalist. Yep. So here's something interesting. I was reading about this band, Kansas.
Who are they?
And they were a band.
Are they from Boston?
Yeah, they were from America.
America.
And they were saying that the first time they did Don Kirshner's rock concert, this fooled a lot. There was no audience there. No audience.
Yeah.
They said there was just chairs and maybe a couple of homeless people. No audience.
Was it because it wasn't popular yet?
No, because the cameras are just facing the band, so you don't know. And they dubbed in audience sounds and things like that. Like, they fooled a lot of people. You know? Yeah.
So maybe unless it was like a real live concert footage, because a lot of it looked like sound stage.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, look live with real cameras and stuff.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Was that exclusive? Did they always do that, or was it?
I think Don Kirshner, they did that. Like sometimes even the Midnight Special. I'm not sure if it was rock concert or Midnight Special. The Raspberries, I saw, and they were with that Eric Carmen idiot, and they were playing like they weren't even playing. It was they were lip syncing it on, like a Midnight Special. Like you're faking it, dude. Like really?
I know.
I guess it makes sense considering expenses. Like SNL was a live show. You have a live audience. David Letterman, all the talk shows that had live audiences, but those rock shows, unless they were, sometimes they had like an in-concert thing. But I guess that was like maybe when Rush was on there when it wasn't concert footage. Even Rush, everyone played. No,
I would think Rush probably played
live.
The first time I saw Rush, there was concert footage from 2112.
Oh.
The first time I saw them on probably midnight. Well, it's probably Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Yeah.
Was that your introduction to Rush, Lou?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
And it was something I was kind of intrigued, but I will say this, but I wasn't even a drummer then. I found Neil interesting to watch just as a kid.
You know,
There's something that, even though he's like, his face doesn't change. He's very grim almost.
Yeah.
But just watching what he did there was just very entertaining. It was just
that's what made
interesting
him.
to watch.
That's what made him amazing. Is that everyone liked watching Neil Peart. I'm a guitar player. I stayed for the drum solo. Everyone stayed for the drum solo. If you left during the drum solo, you were a loser.
You're a good guy.
Everyone loved Neil Peart. That's made him great. Yeah.
He was one of those drummers. I mean, was he technically the best? No, probably not.
Close to it.
Rhythmically, the most interesting.
Yeah.
So
Welcome
I've got a
back to
guy. He's a singer, novelist, humorist. His real name is Richard Friedman. Do you know what his stage name is?
Kinky.
Kinky Friedman. He's a politician even too.
Yeah. He ran for governor.
Favorite songs. I don't want to mention the song name on the show though.
Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah.
I will.
But he was great.
Yeah.
Great. I got introduced to him by Don Imus. Listen to Imus.
Yeah.
And I've just got like 2 trivia questions if I can get them out of the way.
Did Kinky Friedman? Didn't he write? They don't make Jews like Jesus anymore.
That's what I was going to mention.
He does.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of songs about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Prolific.
He ran for governor of Texas.
Yeah.
Here's a trivia question: which American Midwestern band was signed to Kirshner Records?
Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas, yeah.
I'm
By the
shocked.
way, I recently saw a little documentary on them. By the way, they said they signed away. They didn't know. They signed away $30 million albums worth of publishing to Don Kirshner. Like they signed it away.
Wow.
They didn't have a lawyer, they didn't have anything. They just signed it. Yeah.
I thought he was one of the good guys.
No.
You know what?
I mean, there are no good guys in the music business.
I used to tell myself, what the hell did Don Kirshner, what was he thinking signing Kansas, a progressive band? But then I thought about it. When he signed them, ELP and Yes were huge. He probably wanted to get on that progressive thing.
And he was in the hole. Go ahead, Lou.
Well, he also signed the Monkees. One thing about these guys, they may wear leisure suits, but some of these people know music. They have artist souls. I mean, like, if you look at Lou Adler wears a Disney weird Donald Duck hat. You wouldn't think he knows anything about music.
But Kirshner Records was distributed by Epic CBS. They were the distributors. Don Kirshner told him, he goes, I'm a publishing guy. He goes, I made my money through publishing.
Yeah.
And exploiting people.
Yeah, so he burned them. They signed away their publishing to Don Kirshner. And by the way, on that debut album that they recorded, that's John Brown, the abolitionist. Remember the one?
Yes. It's up in the Capitol, the State House Capitol.
Kansas State Capitol, yep.
And if you look at the whole painting, it's huge. It's like that's a sliver of it,
But they signed away 30 million albums worth of publishing to Don Kirshner.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was patient with them because it took him about 3 albums to get to Leftoverture.
He was in
They
the hole. He
their
said
money.
about $1 million. And when they came up with Carry On Wayward Son,
Payback.
he made his money back. He made his money back on that one record. Yeah. Yep.
Lesson to nowadays where there's you got to develop artists. Yes, we're allowed to develop, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have anything until the Yes album or Roundabout.
A lot of them. Well, even Bruce Springsteen, 2 records, the 3rd record, especially with all the hype. But
he was going to get dropped, right?
Yeah, so it was make or break. That's where artistry comes from. And it's weird. Like Don Kirshner, when I was reading about his relationship with the Monkees, I didn't get any inclination that it seemed like he was a fair guy. But, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, but I guess their attitude got to them. Their self-importance, I guess, right?
But I think at some point the artist, and I'm sure that's the case now because it's all DIY. You can't just you don't sign anything on the hood of a car. You know what I mean? Like the rumor was Bruce Springsteen signed his contract with Mike Appel on the hood of a car in an alleyway. That's all myth building. But the thing was, if someone handed anyone a contract, you don't sign it sight unseen.
But I guess when you're 22 and they're gonna put us in the studio, they're gonna they're gonna support us on the tour. They're gonna right.
I will tell you something about Kansas. I have the DVD documentary. There was a point where they said they got the contract, And is either Robbie Steinhardt or Rich Williams' father said, "I know a guy who's a lawyer," and they showed it to him, but he was like an estate lawyer.
Yeah,
he was way, and he didn't. He said, "Yeah, it's fine, sign it." He didn't know, so that's another reason.
Yeah.
They thought they were safe,
but they finally got a manager who knew what he was doing, and after a certain amount of years, their deal was up.
Yeah,
and this is after they had Carry On Wayward Son. An interesting thing, apparently the PR guy, the public relations guy, bring it to the radio station, and one DJ said, interesting thing about Carry On Wayward Son, he goes, every single part of that song is a hook. And when you think about it, like, it is. The intro, that's a hook.
Then you got on the verses. The verses are very.
It's all hooks. Yeah.
The verses are very quiet with the piano. And then the end jam. Boom, boom, bam, bam. Yeah.
All hooks. And Kirshner made all his investment back.
It does have a great vocal on it.
Yes.
The thing is, as far as drumming goes, it's prog, but it's accessible prog.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, it's like if you're. Last night I was rehearsing for today's gig, so I tried to warm up with a couple of Rush songs, right? Okay. I mean, I did New World Man, and I did Subdivisions and Limelight. I got most of it, but other things I fucked this up. When Louis came in, I said, "Did you hear me butchering Rush?" He goes, "Yes, I did."
You're a heathen. You're a heathen.
I'm a heathen, but I think Kansas, Carry On Wayward Son, I could play.
You know what? They appealed to the Boston fans, the Kiss fans. They found a way. See, they were very American. They were America's answer to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And the ELP and Yes were very popular, but they appealed to a core group of people. And Kansas appealed to the beer drinking guys in the Camaros. That Yes may not have,
Blue collar,
they definitely, And they were it.
They were the acceptable edge of the unacceptable stuff as far as
there
prog.
you go.
Yeah. And they were one of the guys was telling a story about when they were opening for Aerosmith, and Steven Tyler was a real asshole. He was a real fucking prima donna, and he was getting pissed because they were playing in Kansas. They were playing in Topeka, or where this is their stomping ground. Not unlike the Grand Funk.
Led Zeppelin on them,
right? Not unlike the Grand Funk thing, and. So they got their sound guy kind of fooled Steven Tyler because Steven Tyler was getting jealous. He didn't want anybody to upstage Aerosmith.
Right.
So Steven Tyler, they put like fake plugs off to the side, and they said Steven Tyler was pulling plugs, like really, you're a fucking you're an asshole, dude.
He was also coked up and all.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to be upstage in Topeka, Kansas. By Kansas, the guys are like, our name is Kansas, dude. Like, what do you think?
Meanwhile, Kansas were like a band that they knew they had to do a show. They prepared. They tried to play their best. And Aerosmith they had boozy nights. They weren't playing the best,
Perry, a mutual acquaintance of ours, describes Steven Tyler. He goes, when I hear him, I see a little girl in her bedroom singing into her hairbrush.
So apparently Steven Tyler did pull some plugs, but they faked him out, And I have one more trivia question. Here's a song we're all familiar with, Joni Mitchell song called "Coyote."
No regrets,
right?
Yes.
So the Joni Mitchell song "Coyote" was inspired by what actor/writer?
Peter Coyote.
Sam Waterston.
You're both wrong.
Sam Shepard.
Lou's got it. Sam Shepard. Sam Shepard, who was having an affair with Joni during the Rolling Thunder.
He's the first guy to go in outer space.
With Levon as his wingman.
That's right.
Right?
Levon as Colonel Jack Ridley.
Yeah, you got any, what was the gum? You got any Bemis or?
Beech Nut.
Beemans. Yeah, you got any Beemans?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you say that, when you say she was having
Sam
an
Shepard
affair.
was hired.
Yep.
Go ahead,
said
Mark.
she was having an affair. I've heard like 50 stories about, Joni Mitchell had an affair with this person. That person.
Everybody.
She was flighty.
Well, Sam Shepard was also married at the time too, but he was hired. He was hired.
Kardashian back then.
He was hired as to write a script about the Rolling Thunder Review. If there was going to be a movie about it, he was going to write the script. So that's why he was there.
My favorite era of Dylan.
He also had an affair at the same time with Chris O'Dell, she was the tour manager.
Yeah.
Who, Sam Waterston had an affair with?
Sam Shepard.
No, Sam Shepard. So he's having an affair with both Joni Mitchell and Chris O'Dell. George
That's what she
Harrison
wrote.
has a song called Miss O'Dell,
Wow.
right?
Oh,
Mac Rebenak wrote a song about her, and like
Jesus.
that. So, yeah.
jeez. This is connecting the dots.
Yeah, yep.
Was she like Pamela DeBar?
So yeah, it wasn't Peter Coyote like a lot of people think. It was Sam
No.
Shepard, the actor writer, the late great,
Yeah, he died of ALS a few years ago.
died of Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah, yeah.
Shoot me.
But he was in The Right Stuff with Lee Von Helm.
He played Chuck Yeager.
Yeah, yep.
And,
Chuck
and I was
Yeager, who
surprised
could-
to hear a few years ago. I didn't know that Peter Coyote was part of that whole San Francisco scene. He hung out with
Yeah,
Ken.
Peter
Ken
Coyote's
Z
been everywhere,
and the
man.
Merry
Yeah.
Pranksters and all that. I didn't know that. You know, so
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
All right. Mark, you
Yeah,
got
bro.
any movies? What's your favorite movie of 1974, Walter? How
I'll
old
tell
were you? You were 5, maybe 5, 6,
I was
74?
5. So I had like very, very vague memories of watching movies, and we all saw them on the Rabbit Ears TV. ABC,
They
whatever.
do have VHS tapes and DVDs, dude.
We had black and white in '74, dude. We didn't have that money. I was dependent on the networks. But the last show we did, I was talking about albums that came out in 1974, and that was a great year for albums. So I looked at the movies, and there are some iconic movies. And if I could get my mouse to work here, I will tell you. Here we go. So. Yeah, it was a big year for movies. And first of all, if I'm just going to say is we know this one, Blazing Saddles came out in '74.
Yep.
No need to say anymore.
Yeah.
Work.
Mel
One
Brooks.
of the greatest fart jokes ever was in that movie.
Everyone loves the pork and beans scene, the bean scene, right?
But I didn't see
Alex
that
Harris.
movie. And a lot of these movies I didn't see until later on.
You were a
But-
wee lad, of course.
Yeah, but I saw a couple of them. And then, I was like, I didn't realize that. Dumb me, I went, oh, Robert Altman made movies in '74. Well, shit, he made MASH a year before. So, one of the big movies, and I didn't see, but maybe you guys know, Thieves Like Us. Did you know that movie with Keith Carradine and Shelley Duvall?
Never heard of it. Never saw it. Yeah.
It's kind of like a guy and a girl crime duo. I'd like to see it. I can't see Robert Altman directing a really action-packed movie, though.
Find it.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember Keith Carradine had maybe a top 40 hit in the 70s?
Oh, what was it?
I'm easy. I'm easy.
I think I might have that 45 somewhere.
Real 70s singer-songwriter acoustic.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Kind of the precursor to some of the drivel that is out here today.
He made money.
Anyway.
A movie that was seen as a precursor to Starsky and Hutch. It was a movie called Busting, which I want to see. It was Elliot Gould and Robert Blake. And
killer.
they were Los Angeles Vice Cops. That sounds pretty good,
Robert Blake died a guilty man.
Yes. Yes, he
Robert
did.
Blake's dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, just recently, this past year.
Bob Gibbertowski.
Bobby Gubitosi. Weren't you related to him somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh, really? I thought you were. You don't want to admit it.
Okay. I did not know that Robert Redford played the Great Gatsby, but there was a Great Gatsby
Shame
in
on you
74.
for not knowing that, Mark.
I didn't know it.
I've never seen
Yeah.
it. I've never seen that one.
I'd like to
You
see
never
it.
saw
No.
that is a good one. Mia Farrow, Robert Redford, Sam Waterston, Bruce Dern, of course, F. Scott
Bruce
Fitzgerald's
Dern.
novel,
Bruce Dern.
Great
yeah.
Gatsby. All right?
Yeah.
They remade it with Leonardo DiCaprio. Not that good. Yeah.
I bet it's not that bad though. Mark, did you see
Well,
it?
it's the story. The story is great.
yeah.
Great
They showed the
Gatsby,
great-
the book. Yeah.
Did you
So
know with
in high
DiCaprio?
school, when my kids were in
I
high
saw
school,
it. Yeah, I saw
Romina
both
saw
of
it.
them.
She saw the Leo one in high school. They showed it to the kids, and she loved it. And it was for the newer generation. And
Sure.
I've heard it's good. But Robert Redford, come on, can't beat that. The script for that one was by Francis Ford Coppola. He wrote the script.
Yeah.
So-
Yep.
Sugarland Express came out, the first
First
Steven
Spielberg movie.
Spielberg movie. Yep.
Yeah.
And John Williams doing the music. I
Golden
never saw
Horn?
that one either.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Well, that's a collaboration that lasted a long time.
Yeah, there you go.
Steve Spielberg and John Williams.
And Williams is
Yeah.
still alive. He's 94, I believe. Because the last Steven Spielberg movie, he did music. He did music to the last Star Wars, actually. I love her to death. Foxy Brown came out in '74. And Pam Grier is Quentin Tarantino introduced me to her, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola's first directorial effort of 1974, The Conversation with Gene Hackman. I never saw it.
Great
I've heard
movie.
it's great.
The Hack, John Cazale, Alan Garfield, guys like that.
This is 1974, and he wrote the screenplay?
Directed.
He directed it. That was one of his first.
1974 was a big year for him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is huge.
Great movie. You can find it on HBO or one of those cable channels all the time. The Conversation.
It's on one now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Jonathan Demme was making movies in 1974, but he made a movie called Caged Heat, and it's a women in prison movie, and it was it looked like a Roger Corman movie, is what they say. So Roger Corman made some pulpy movies. The Lords of Flatbush, with a very, very Fonzie looking,
Henry Winkler.
What's his name? Yeah, Henry Winkler.
Winkler.
And of course, Sylvester Stallone.
Perry King.
The other guy. The other guy. The movie didn't age well to me.
Stallone.
When I saw it, I didn't really like it.
That's a funny movie.
Yeah, I guess it is.
The Lords of Flatbush?
Yeah.
I'll give you a ring. The ring around my bathtub.
Maybe I got to watch it in the right frame of mind. When I say that, I mean this.
Yep.
I do know the theme song. I'm not doing it this time. The Lords of Flatbush, Flatbush, Flatbush.
That's a doo-wop. You're doing a doo-wop, man. Yeah.
Dude,
I'm Italian.
sound good.
Yeah.
It's Italo rock.
Yeah.
There you go.
The Lords of Flatbush was a movie.
Wait. Hold on.
Do.
Anyway, here's a movie that I remember because I loved but as a kid, I loved Chips with the car crashes. I mean, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. And I liked that movie. It was just one car crash after another. Back when they actually destroyed cars to make car crashes.
Big American cars. Yeah. These movies were designed for drive-ins. It wasn't high-minded cinema. But a lot of these movies, they made money. Like we went to the movies because we didn't have cable television.
That's what I love about that movie, Tora, Tora, Tora. There were real fucking planes in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, not like the Ben Affleck, Pearl Harbor movie. You can tell they were just computer-generated bombers.
Yeah, in 2000.
B-17s or,
Yeah.
All right, here's one I know we all like because we've all talked about it in the past. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot came out. And it was one of... It was the first of, I think, 3 movies George Kennedy made that year. He was very busy. But I like it only because it's Clint Eastwood. Then I realized, but
Jeff Bridges, too. Musician, guitar player, songwriter, right?
Yeah. Jeff Bridges from Walt Disney. He used to be in Walt Disney movies when he was a kid.
Kurt Russell was the Disney guy, wasn't he?
Okay.
Just like, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell's nickname was Disney Boy.
Yeah. He was the computer that wore tennis shoes. Jeff Bridges was nominated for an Oscar. Those were the Disney movies, the computer that wore tennis shoes.
Oh, I just imagine this Atari walking across the street.
Disney even had one where like a donkey was kicking field goals for a football team or something.
So they were putting out pulp. They were putting out cheap movies, for a while.
Mm-hmm. Dean Jones was the other Disney actor.
Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, though, great friggin' movie, man.
Excellent movie.
Yeah. One of the greatest lines in cinema. Hey, kid, go fuck a duck.
George Kennedy, right?
George Kennedy. Yep. And Jeffrey Lewis, character actor deluxe.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Comedy and serious. He was just great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good friend of Clint Eastwood, too. Yeah.
And father of Juliet Lewis.
Yeah, it does those orangutan movies. And I know I say orangutan because it's more fun than saying orangutan.
Well, no, you think they would have sent an orangutan up into space instead of a chimp because they drank Tang.
Oh, he's at Shecky's on Tuesday night.
Always at Shecky's. I had a residency there.
Here's a movie I saw and I did not like. I saw it on Turner Movie Network, but I've heard it. I got to really watch it. It's The Parallax View. I got to rewatch it because I know
movie. You just check it out.
Yeah,
you just check it out. It's a good course. It's a good course. Just check it out. Wow, Warren Beatty. Yeah,
good course. A course in filmmaking.
That was from Good Will Hunting. It's a good course. Just check it out. Yeah,
I didn't see Good Will Hunting.
Well, you're missing a great movie, man. You're missing a great movie.
They go check out the college kids at the bar. Get the fuck out.
This is a Harvard bar.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be equations on the walls and shit.
Okay, here's a movie that I have never seen and I have to see. Chinatown. That came out in '74. I gotta see it.
It's on Netflix.
It is?
Man,
Yes.
you got
I'm
it.
writing
You
it
never
down.
saw Chinatown. Wow.
No.
Faye Dunaway, Jack Nicholson, Roman Polanski movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the sequel, The Two Jakes?
Yeah. The Two Jakes. Absolutely. I do. Great. Another
Was,
great movie. Yeah.
Was Jack Nicholson in it?
Jack Nicholson is the star of the movie. Both movies. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
Jack and Faye Dunaway in the first one in Chinatown.
Yeah. Yeah. And Roman Polanski did not leave the U.S. till 1978. That's when he fled.
Oh, it
And,
was 78. It was that
yeah,
late.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, we were discussing. Okay.
That's when he fled. He can only go to France, Switzerland, and one other country. Although if he went anywhere else, he could be extradited back to the United States. Yeah.
Like Gary Glitter.
Okay.
Gary
saw him
Glitter in his
live.
skinny jeans.
Scum. 8-year-old guy in skinny jeans. What a scumbag.
All right. So, I guess got to be one of the first adult cartoons was the sequel to Fritz the Cat, The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, came out.
There's the
Now, the
sequel.
first
What
one
the hell
was
is
rated.
that?
Well, the first Fritz the Cat was rated X,
Yeah.
and the sequel was only rated R. I guess because time goes on, they accepted a little more. So, you see it, Luke? Did you see that movie?
I saw some of Fritz the Cat, the first one. It was like an R. Crumb animated. I don't know who did the animation for it. Was it R. Crumb? Probably not. But
Yes.
it-
The original Fritz
Perry's
comic
rubbing his
artist.
eyes into the back of his head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he wasn't involved with the sequel. So all right. So who played the theme for Shaft again? What's his name?
Isaac
Hayes.
All right. So he, after doing the song Shaft, somebody got this bright idea of getting him in a movie. So he did a movie called Truck Turner. I'd like to see that.
Can you dig it?
It also has Yaphet Kotto and Nichelle Nichols.
Yamakoto.
Yeah,
That
Yamakoto.
that guy was great, right?
Yeah.
He played Idi Amin in some early movie about the raid on
He
his
did,
head.
yeah. He played Idi Amin. Yeah, you're right.
Remember Garrett Morris? I'm Idi Amin. That is 2 eyes, 2 D's, and 1 gun.
Did you ever see a movie that Yaphet Kotto made with Richard Pryor and Harvey Keitel? I'm not sure what it was called, but they were auto workers in Detroit.
Yeah, that
And-
sounds familiar.
It's a really good movie. I can't remember the name of it, but if anybody's interested in it, look it up, and then you'll find it. Yaphet Kotto, Richard Pryor, and Harvey Keitel. What a great movie. Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so director Irvin Kershner got Elliot Gould and Donald Sutherland back together after doing MASH, and he made a movie called Spies, and it was
Oh,
spelled
you said
like
that.
MASH.
You mentioned that a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you did,
SPYS. It didn't do good, but you told me it was good. You said you saw it.
Me? I never saw it.
Oh, I thought you did.
He also
say you
likes
saw it.
Ishtar, Mark.
I love
I
this
have to see Ishtar. I've never
I
seen
love
it. All I
Ishtar.
hear is you guys talking about it. So I gotta watch it.
Because I like movies like where Warren Beatty and Dustin Hoffman are just having fun throughout the movies, kind
There
of
you
like
go.
those Burt Reynolds movies
Yes.
where they're just having
Only worse.
fun. Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise are just having
Yeah,
fun.
the Cannonball
They're
Run
like
movies,
silly. They're like the outtakes are some of the funniest parts, like at the end.
My favorite line from Cannonball Run was when Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. had that car.
Oh, by the way,
And-
can I say something about Ishtar?
Yeah.
Paul Williams was told for Ishtar, he wrote the songs for the movie. He was told, "Can you write some of the worst songs you've ever written in your life for the movie?" Because they were supposed to be two singers who are real hacks,
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Who go, and they think they're a big hit in Ishtar. So Paul Williams had to write shitty songs for
They
it.
should have just gotten Van Morrison songs from the Bang record sessions, The best line from Cannonball Run. You're small. Dean Martin to Sammy Davis Jr. I love it. Okay, moving on. Mr. Majestic, one of my favorites, Charles Bronson.
Charlie Bronson loved that movie. Yeah,
Yep.
Majestic.
he was a farmer. Yeah,
Yeah. In
farmer.
the same year, he made Death Wish. What a
He was
year
a-
for Charles Bronson.
yeah.
He was a farmer who killed a lot of people.
No. There was other people trying to steal his farm and kill his crop
Oh,
and
okay.
keep him from making a living.
It's an
And of
Elmer.
course, he had to get pissed.
It
Yeah.
wasn't about
It's-
revenge. Well, I guess it was.
What's the line from the one from the You believe in Jesus?
That's Death Wish, isn't it? You
Yeah,
believe in
yeah,
Jesus.
was it?
You're going to
You
meet
believe
him.
in Jesus? Well, you're going to meet him.
I'd
Yeah,
like a
it was
fillet
a-
of fish.
Mr. Majestic was an Elmer Leonard book based on. I like all his books. So,
cool.
Yeah, Death Wish came out. Here's something I didn't know. There was an original version of Nicky Coppola made Gone in 60 Seconds. So there was an original Gone in 60 Seconds.
I
I'd
didn't
like
know
to
there was
see
an
that.
original one. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
You know
recently
what?
saw a few minutes of it. By the way,
The Nicky Coppola one wasn't bad. It had Robert Duvall. It had a good
Yeah.
cast. It was actually
well, they
pretty
had to
good.
have the more crazy car scenes and the one with
Yeah.
Nicky Coppola, you know, and the other guy who's a Scientologist guy. He's the brother.
well,
He played his brother.
Giovanni.
Yeah, Giovanni Ribisi. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The thing
He's
is,
a Scientologist.
who was that director? That big action director that did Gone in 60 Seconds. Can't remember his name. You know who
Oh,
I'm
I
talking
don't know.
about.
Yeah.
He made Con Air. He made all
Yeah.
those. Any movie that Nicolas Cage was in for this director, he actually made him good. Like
Yeah.
the one with Sean Connery, The Rock. That's actually a pretty good movie.
Yep.
You know, so. They're going down. Harry and Tonto, Art Carney. I remember
Great
seeing that
movie,
on Channel
yeah.
5. My mother loved it.
Well, isn't Tonto a cat?
Yep.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Okay, I've heard a lot about this movie. Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia, and it's a Sam Peckinpah movie, and they say it's pretty brutal to watch. I think Mark Maron was saying it is brutal. He cuts the guy's head off, and he's carrying it
Really?
back.
I never
with him.
saw it.
Yeah, and
I
Sam
think-
Peckinpah was a brutal director.
He made some of those weird westerns in the '60s. He might have done that.
He did Billy the Kid, right?
Billy the Kid, and also one maybe with Marlon Brando, maybe like Viva Zapata or something like that. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
but he did
Yeah.
some, like I said, realistic filmmaking.
He was not appreciated when he was alive, from what I hear. Like his movies, kind of some of them bombed, but years later, in retrospect, they were reappraised. Here's a Burt Reynolds movie I really like. The Longest Yard came out in '74.
Great movie.
Great movie.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't see the. Did you see the remake? Who's in the remake? I forgot.
It's horrible. Even though Burt Reynolds is in it, he
Adam
plays
Sandler.
Burt Reynolds plays the warden in the remake. It's
Oh,
horrible.
really?
It's Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying? It was too Hollywood, you know. It was like so expected. We're going to remake a movie, you know. But they did include the scene with the blowing light bulb, you know, in the new one. I was like, are they going to tackle that again? So, yeah. This was the height of blaxploitation movies. So, The Black Godfather came out in '74.
Yeah, I never even heard of it.
I never heard of it either.
Yeah, this Big Bad Mama with William Shatner came out.
Never heard of that
and
one
Angie
either.
Dickinson. That should probably
Never heard
be
of
pretty
her.
good. Yeah.
I remember seeing her drunk on the Tonight Show all the time.
Really?
Yeah. It was a sequel to the Roger Corman hit Bloody Mama with Shelley Winters. So.
What year did Bloody Mama come out?
Bloody Mama? It doesn't say.
My God.
It's-
Bloody Mama.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. I didn't know it came out that long ago. That's a long time ago.
That's a classic American drive-in theater movie.
So that was like the second big horror movie after Night of the Living Dead. It came before Halloween. It came before Friday the 13th.
Well, actually, no. Night of the Living Dead was almost like universal in a lot of ways because it was so shocking. I think Texas Chainsaw. You know, that's kind of it. Still was. It was kind of culty. I think even then.
Okay.
But although it was widely seen, I think, because it was just as kind of gruesome in its own way. It was a little bit. It was considered more schlocky. I think the fact that Night of the Living Dead was so, in some sense, groundbreaking, it almost catapulted Night of the Living Dead to almost like art house status in a lot of ways for horror movies. Where
it upped the ante.
Texas Chainsaw. Now it's a scary movie, man. That thing messed my head up. It was that and Willard. Remember Willard?
Yeah. I love the fact that zombies became fast. You know, like in the original Night of the Living Dead, they're like slow-moving zombies. Like, hey, no worries here, dude. I can walk faster than that. You know,
it was the ones like 28 days later that would chase you down.
That movie really scared me, and I
Sure
was in
it
my
did.
30s when it came out. And when you were running zombies with they're going like an English accent. Arr, you know, that made it even more scary because they're all skinhead. Arr, you know.
But they're very aggressive.
Yeah. The far superior original version of The Taking of Pelham 123 came out in '74.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With a Hector Elizondo in it.
Yep. The Taking of Pelham 123. Yeah. Yep.
And Wally Matthau.
Yeah. And
Marty
what's his name? Yep. Martin Balsam. Walter Matthau. You know what I saw the other day? Charlie Varick. You ever watch that? Ever see Charlie Varick?
No.
Walter Matthau stars in Charlie Varick. It's a bank caper movie.
I'm writing it down.
Charlie Varick.
Okay.
It's on one of those cable channels, you know, HBO, Showtime, whatever it is.
He was so good as Oscar Madison in the Odd Couple movie that Jack Klugman took a lot of his character. Yeah. Especially early on in the series work.
And I saw, I'm sure, Tony Randall with Jack Lemmon, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you know, the first season of Odd Couple, you know, Felix was a little more morose, a little more depressed.
Yeah.
And it was kind of oppressive for TV. Right, whereas toward the end, you get a little more the manic side of Felix, the wacky side.
I'd like to have that apartment, though. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
I love that
Central
apartment.
Park. Was it Central Park West? Yeah.
I don't know where it was, man. But
it cost
was
a
uptown, boys.
the building is there. You can find it.
Yeah. Oh, and then when I showed it to my son, he's a big Frasier fan. So when I showed him Odd Couple, I said, "Watch Felix. That is Niles Crane. Niles Crane is based on Felix. Definitely the same." And Anthony agreed. He was like, "Yeah, that's Felix." Yeah.
I never watched Frasier.
Oh, it was a well-written show. It was really good. Yeah. I hated the character Frasier in Cheers. I thought he was pompous. I couldn't stand him. But when they gave him his own show, it was like, wow, it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then another George Kennedy movie, Airport 75, came out.
Yeah.
So I had Charlton Heston, Karen Black, Linda Blair, Helen Reddy, Sid Caesar, Larry Storch, and Myrna Loy.
It had King Kaiser on it.
From Passaic, New Jersey.
wait, who was Loretta Swit?
No.
Who was from Passaic?
Loretta Swit's from Passaic, New Jersey.
She is.
Really?
Okay, oh, wow. Who did you say was from Passaic, Perry?
Larry Storch.
Larry Storch. Agarn.
Okay, here's a movie that I didn't see, but a lot of people have seen. Phantom of the Paradise came out. Was it Brian De Palma? Yeah.
Dude, I think you'll like it, Mark.
I'll see
You'll like it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Whoever tries dies.
Okay, here's another George Kennedy movie, Earthquake, another disaster movie with Charlton Heston.
Yeah, those are Irwin Allen movies. Yeah,
Wow.
They were great. I loved them.
Yeah.
So Charlton Heston made 2 disaster movies?
In 1 year.
Wow.
And don't forget, George Kennedy made those 2 movies and the one with Clint Eastwood. He was on fire that year. I haven't seen this, but I think I really have to. Lenny with Dustin Hoffman playing Lenny Bruce. Yeah. I got it. My mother loved this one, The Murder on the Orient Express, the 74 version. She loved it. I never saw it. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, the movie that started Alice.
The original, yeah.
Have to see that one, too.
Kiss my roots.
And Martin Scorsese made it. I didn't know he made that movie.
Wow.
He
directed it?
Yeah. Yeah. Another disaster movie, Towering Inferno. That was my personal favorite.
Great one.
With Steve McQueen and Paul Newman. Yeah.
Paul Newman.
And Robert Wagner.
Robert Wagner. And
O.J. Simpson. O.J.'s in that one.
The Juice is in that one.
The Juice is in that one, yeah.
Young Frankenstein came out that year. This is a great year.
OJ was, he was auditioning. He goes, "Let me take a stab at her."
Oh, that was a good one. Wait. This deserves the claw on the wine glass. Ready?
Well, that's not my joke. That's one of those comedians' jokes. No, let me take a stab at it.
Or Chris Rock said, "I don't agree with what he did, but I understand why he did it."
I understand why he did it. I said Young Frankenstein. Here we go for you, Lou. Godfather Part 2 came out. What a year!
What a shitty movie that is.
Oh. Yeah, right. Crap. It can't hold that way. I'm gonna speak in Sopranos talk. That can hold I can't hold a candle to 3.
Yeah.
Right.
I can do Sofia Coppola's part when she got shot.
Do it.
Daddy,
That's our best acting right there.
How about this one? Lighting don't scare shit. Bullshit.
In my bedroom, where my wife sleeps.
I thought it was.
And my kids play with their toys.
I thought it was in my room where your wife sleeps, and your children play with my toys.
Yes,
that's not it.
Got it,
Michael. I almost died myself.
I almost crapped myself.
Jesus Christ, Mike! I said, hit him now while we got the muscle.
It's like I'm in Roth. What a great movie, man!
You know, it's probably the greatest sequel of all time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe.
I liked it better than the first.
Well, that's the whole thing. But you can't fault the first one for liking part two better. That's the whole thing. It doesn't matter. It's just preference. But it's not like the fucking first one sucks. You know,
the second one told a better story to me. The second one told a better story.
And
Young Vito, coming to Ellis Island. And,
it was a brilliant genius continuation. I mean, it's like, I mean, it should be one movie. It really should be one movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
1 5-hour movie, but
Yeah. Well, you know what? That'll be the next re-release because they're always looking to make.
Did you ever see a movie with
they remake it? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see a movie with Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando together?
They did the movie in Montreal.
Yeah, that's right. It's called The Score.
And Ed Norton. He was
a really good movie.
It's another
caper. It's a caper movie. Yeah.
And I loved it because it was filmed in Montreal.
It was filmed in Montreal. Yeah.
Yep. I thought Marlon Brando kind of mailed it in a little bit in that, but at that point in his career, he was
he was good. He was good. You know who was good? Ed Norton. He played a.
He had to play mentally. He
played a mentally challenged person.
But he was pretending to be.
He was pretending to get the job and all that stuff in the facility. Yep.
Just like he was. Remember in Basic Instinct with Richard Gere. At the end of the movie, he turns out to be this devil incarnate.
Yeah.
Same thing.
He's
without giving anything away, Lou, if you haven't seen The Score, but it's one of those movies where right up to the end you'll be like, you don't know what's going to happen. You know,
great movie. Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, and Ed Norton. Not Ed Norton. Ed. What's his name?
Yeah, Ed Norton.
Hey, Ralphie boy.
Ed Norton.
No, pal.
You're a blabbermouth.
And I know that you know. Start fucking.
Oh, boy.
Now, so I think A Dry White Season was Brando's apparently his last great role. They said.
Yeah.
Not Don Juan DeMarco.
I didn't see.
He was horrible.
Did you see Last Tango?
In Tampa?
Tijuana? No, Tampa.
Last Tango in Tampon? What?
No. Who's in Don Juan DeMarco besides
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp.
That's the one where he was like a singer. He just mailed. That's the one I meant to say. When I watched it, I'm like, he's mailing it in. He just wanted.
But he made a movie. Johnny Depp can claim he made a movie with Marlon Brando. Man. Really, not everybody can claim that. You know,
it was a big hit.
Matthew Broderick. Although I think I saw parts of The Freshman. It just looked like. I mean, maybe I didn't get it. It just looked like he was playing Vito Corleone. This is what he was.
He was. That was the comedy value of it. That he was doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Sorry, all right, so
Mark.
One more. Just one more movie, and it's a movie that gets maligned in the James Bond canon, but it was one of my favorites. Is The Man with the Golden Gun. It's with Christopher Lee as Francisco Scaramanga with three nipples.
In Dublin.
That was a really good movie.
You're like Chandler from Friends.
Didn't Ringo do a soundtrack for James Bond movie? Octopussy's Garden, didn't he?
That deserves another one.
In an octopussy's garden in the shade.
There was a Bond movie named Octopussy, right, with Roger Moore?
Yes, there was, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching the Peter Jackson Get Back Again. I'm listening with headphones because I can't make out dialogue.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come across. I'm deaf. But it was Ringo and George. We talked about this when they were doing Octopus's Garden. Ringo was playing, he was doing some things. He was writing.
Right. Basic chords on the piano. Yeah.
But there's another song they were playing later on. I forgot the song where John was playing guitar, George was playing guitar, and Ringo went to the piano and was playing along with John and George. It was it was good though.
Yeah.
That's the only way to listen to that movie though, because you cannot make out the accents, unless you use subtitles.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right,
Buffy.
Buffy St. Smith. Yeah, so I got some Buffy St. Marie leading into Oscar trivia.
Cool. Yeah.
I never knew who she was. Wasn't she associated with the early folk scene, but I remember seeing in association with Dylan, her and Joan Baez.
Yeah, that's
They're
that
in
same
that
silly quiver wavering in their voice too, which is very annoying.
I had no idea how annoying. I was watching.
Yeah.
I wish Mark was here. The reference I'm making, it's just like really, this was something the producer said, do this, It was it must have been a signature sound.
Well, I guess in 1964, folk was still hanging on from the late 50s through the, early to mid 60s. Folk was still hanging on.
Mm-hmm. At work, I was I downloaded the Beatles, the remastered and remixed Red and Blue albums, and Norwegian Wood came out. It was You've Got the Hide Your Love Away came on. So I was goofing with one of the guys at work. He's 45. I said, "Hey kid, ever hear the Beatles?" He goes, "Yeah," and he likes them. But You've Got the Hide Your Love Away comes on. He goes, "Isn't that Dylan?" And I said, "No, that's John Lennon trying to be Dylan."
So doing Dylan, absolutely.
Singing nasally and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we should start going.
Because I think Dylan told Lennon one time, he goes, "Your songs are good, but you don't say anything." And I think that's John Lennon took that to heart,
Wow.
when they were smoking dope up in the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I think, even going up to then, I guess, even though Dylan, when he heard She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand, he was just like, holy shit. It was just the whole thing,
Yeah.
And re-listening to those old songs, they're very simple, but they're simple, but they're really not. And there was just something about the feeling that they managed.
Well, they're playing their own instruments, they're writing their own songs. That just didn't happen.
They sounded exuberant,
Yeah. Yep.
When I was watching Get Back last night, and I'm still saying Paul is amazing. It's just I was like, you always knew what he could do, but even some of the songs he's singing, he was singing "Don't Let Me Down" at one point, and he could have done that. They could have interchanged, but.
Yeah, I remember hearing there was one song that they all took a shot at singing. What was that song where George sang lead on it, then John sang it, then Paul sang it? It was
I don't know.
It might have been the one they gave to what was the one they gave to Badfinger?
Day After Day? No. If You Want It.
If you want it,
I think there was a version of that where George is singing lead on it, and then there's a version where John is singing lead on it, and maybe Paul is singing lead on the other one. Yeah, maybe it's that song. Yeah. All right, where we heading, Lou?
I got my heater on. I can take my jacket off.
It was 8 degrees this morning when I left the house to go to the rehearsal.
Yeah, it's winter out there.
Colder by you than by us.
Oh yeah. But we're going back on Friday. It's going to be 67 and rainy.
So yesterday, say really quick. You guys know Tallman Mountain State Park.
Yeah.
Me and Anthony went to the top of it to overlook Piermont, and the wind. Anthony had a little thing with him. It was 5 degrees wind chill. Why did we do that?
That's not hiking wind.
It is. You lose a lot of weight because your heart's beating so fast trying to heat you up.
Because you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Recently, when I've been watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie that you guys recommended to me, that I'm finding so many subtext in this movie. Every time I've seen 6 times.
Yeah.
There's so much subtext. I love that era. And one of the songs when Margot Robbie is driving around, and there's a song, I'm like, is that Joni Mitchell? And I'm listening to the vibrato on the vocal. It's it's way over the top. It sounds like an oscillator. And I'm going to play a little bit of it.
Oh, really?
Talk about the person who sang it because I didn't know who it was until I looked it up.
Okay.
Give a little few seconds.
You going to put it by the mic? Oh, boy. Like Robin Williams joking like somebody slapping her throat.
There's a pickle in the back of the...
Well. So who is that?
It turns out, well, I thought it was Joni Mitchell, but it turns out it is Buffy St. Marie. Joni Mitchell wrote the song.
Joni Mitchell wrote that song?
She wrote the song. Probably most likely did a version. But I'm listening to how it's funny because at the spiritual center where I have my Sunday gig, we were singing as backups, and like I like using vibrato. It's a great way. It is a good way to end a phrase. We don't just stop. But if you go, right?
If you use a look, you sound like a sheep if you go a little bit too long, like her. Yeah,
not unlike Stevie Nicks sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you guys see the South Park where the army sends the sheep over to Iran or Iraq? They think it's Stevie Nicks.
I hope she has a sense of humor.
She did. She too was okay with it.
So that was Buffy St. Marie.
So
right?
it was Buffy St. Marie. You know, she was known in the early '60s up until she. Interesting.
She's still
person.
around. Yeah.
She's still around. She's 82 years old. So I think she lives in Hawaii. Yeah, she's 82 years old. You know, singer-songwriter. But you know, she made this claims early on that I always thought she was Native American. She's not. She's of Italian and English heritage. She was born in Stoneham, Massachusetts.
She was born in Massachusetts, yeah.
Right. So throughout her career, you know, she always wrote songs about, you know, the Native American experience. You know,
Yep.
starting charities, promoting, nothing really bad. But going through all this time, you know, she basically said, you know, I'm a Native American. Her family, at times, would try to intervene and say, you know, no, we have European heritage. And she actually had lawyers shutting members of her family down and threatening lawsuits and stuff like that. So, long story short, you know, she claimed to be of Canadian, native indigenous Canadian heritage.
Yeah.
But in a sense, through ceremony,
Cree.
she was adopted by the Crees. I forgot the other tribes I'd never heard of. So that's like basically saying, you know, I'm an honorary whatever because of something. But the fact that her family was trying to clear the record saying, you know, no, she was born in America. She's an American citizen.
They have her birth certificate from 1941 in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So now she claims to be an American citizen. And, you know, but so I think that was just something, I don't know why she did that. She never had to explain it or never tried to. But it was kind of fraudulent in a certain way. Not to
cultural
deny
appropriation. She should be ashamed of herself for
very
doing that at all.
To real Native
cultural
Americans,
appropriation, but while promoting and starting charities to help indigenous peoples and women and stuff like that. So it wasn't all self-aggrandizement, but the fact that she did lie and she did appropriate a culture that wasn't hers. But now the Cree have said that, you know, she's through ceremony, she is part of our tribe, part of our family. But the fact is, you know, that happened after she mentioned this, though. So I think
that could happen to you too, Lou. I mean, if you if you went that route, you could do. So that's, I mean,
right. But I would never
shameful.
claim. Yeah,
Shameful.
I would never claim to be, you know, whatever I was aspiring to, unless they said, you know, through adoption or through association, you know.
You know, they refer to them that as pretendians. That's what they refer to them as. Yeah. Yep. I mean, and back in the sorry for interrupting, but back then, folk singers would get $500 a show because she claimed to be Native North American. She would get $2,000 a show. It's a complete farce. I mean, it's shameful. I cannot stand her at this point. You know, just she made up the story that she was born on a Cree reservation and got adopted by a family in Massachusetts. Yeah.
So
she was born in Massachusetts of Italian heritage. Yeah.
So the CBC did a documentary on her. It's called "Who Is the Real Buffy St. Marie?"
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And it's talked about, like, they bring up when she went on the Sesame Street. It was a big deal because she was the first indigenous to be on Sesame Street, and it was all a lie.
Her last name was Santa Maria.
Right. Absolutely.
So the family changed it to St. Marie because they felt there was Italian bigotry toward them where they were living.
Right, yeah.
They were in Massachusetts. It was probably the Irish people up there.
Yeah, damn Irish.
I've got relatives up there, too, by the way.
I don't.
In Fall River, Portuguese part of my family is from, which is why I love the Red Sox. Yeah,
let's go up to let's take a trip, Harry. I always wanted to see Fall River.
Yeah, Fall River, Mass. Yep.
So
anyway, but she's a pretendian. Yeah.
She's a pretendian. However, the Native American tribes that she claims to be a part of have not shunned her. And I think partially because of the exposure that she, but
she
the way
did a lot
the
for
side door that she took to do it was extremely wrong, you know.
They say
And-
she claimed to be a Cree, then she claimed
Yeah.
to be an Algonquin, then she claimed to be
There was
some
another
other
tribe.
tribe, then she
Yeah.
claimed to be some other tribe.
Yeah.
It's shameful. I can't believe they haven't. She hasn't been canceled, so to speak, just
Right.
yet. You know.
Well, I think at this point she's retired. She's 82. You know,
Yeah.
if there was someone younger now doing that, they would be nailed to the wall immediately.
Yeah.
But did you know? She was the co-writer of that song. We'll lift us up where we belong.
Oh, really?
I did read that. I did
Eagles
read
fly.
that somewhere. Yeah.
Oscar winner.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, that was a Joe Cockerism. Nothing wrong with Joe Cocker. That's how he got into it. Was
He
a spastic
loved it when
move.
John
Yeah,
Belushi
yeah.
did it. He loved
Yeah.
it.
America loved it.
Yeah.
So she's one of the co-writers of that song, which was an Oscar winner. That would in 1983. It came out in 82 from the movie Officer and a Gentleman. But that was the song, Oscar-winning song of the year. So she is an Oscar winner, along with Will Jennings and Jack Nitschke. Those are the three writers in that. Now, both Will Jennings and Jack Nitschke have illustrious.
Yeah.
Jack Nitschke, he was in Crazy Horse.
He wrote The Lonely
Association.
Surfer, didn't he? Like
Yes,
in the
he
early
did.
60s.
Yes, he did. He co-wrote Needles and Pinza with Sonny Bono, that was made famous by the Searchers.
Yeah.
Also, he's an
Needles and
arranger.
Pinza.
Yeah, he's an arranger, but he worked with Neil Young. I mean, Crazy Horse. So I looked up.
I always assumed that was a Diane Warren song because it sounds like a Diane Warren song. Right?
Yeah, it does, but it was Jennifer Warren's and Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
So where was I going with this? There's Oscar winner.
She's a pretendian. That's shameful. Buffy St. Marie is shameful. I'm ashamed of Buffy St. Marie.
She's Buffy. Now, Will Jennings, the other writer of that, he's an arranger. He's a writer, but he wrote Tears in Heaven. He's a lyricist primarily, I think.
What a great song, Tears.
Oh,
wrote
wait.
Tears in
I
Heaven.
thought
What a
Eric
great
Clapton
song.
wrote that song.
No.
It's a co-write. He did a lot of co-writes with people.
Yeah.
He wrote lyrics to him, and another co-write, "My Heart Will Go On" from the Titanic.
That was actually, it's a good song. I hate to say it. It's just the singer.
And he's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He had a big association with Steve Winwood. He's a co-writer.
Sorry, I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I'm the king of the world. He's a co-writer with Steve Winwood on the Ark of a Diver record. He co-wrote Back in the High Life. He co-wrote Higher Love.
Wow.
The Finer Things. He co-wrote Looks
Those are two
Like
Steve
We
Winwood
Made It.
hits, right?
Steve Winwood, Steve Winwood.
Yeah.
He co-wrote a guy named Richard Kerr. Looks Like We Made It for Barry Manilow.
Looks like we made it. Yeah.
He co-wrote.
That's a great song.
He co-wrote this one. I'll never love this way again.
Ooh, that's that adult contemporary schlock. Yeah.
Fucking huge hit. He bought Los Angeles with the royalty checks of that fucking song. And
Did he write, "Oh man, Dave, you kissed me, stop it, but I threw up anyway"?
Oh, Randy. I kissed you and I laughed. Okay. He also wrote "Please Remember Me" for Tim McGraw, was the #1 country hit.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. Yeah.
No, I'm not either. But
I know that song.
I didn't know
I
he
know
wrote
it.
"Tears in Heaven."
I know a lot of Tim McGraw songs.
That's Faith McGraw. Yeah.
I actually know a lot of Tim McGraw songs. That's my secret closet thing. With I
Really?
never-
With the
I know a lot of
shitty
his
Nashville stuff. Yeah.
songs.
I went dumpster diving. I went mountain
If Tim
climbing.
McGraw played guitar like Brad Paisley, I'd say like, yeah, he's cool, but he doesn't. Yeah.
He can sing. Okay, so Up Where We Belong was from the 55th Academy
Wait a minute,
Awards.
who are we talking about now at this point?
Well,
now?
we're done with Buffy St. Marie because I happened to stumble upon that song.
Can I just say
And-
something really quick before
Yeah.
you go on? I'm looking at a picture on the CBC documentary website of Buffy St. Marie in full Indian headdress performing for the Queen of England. She
Native
really
American.
wrote this
Native
thing.
American.
Total
She really wrote this thing out.
Yeah.
I mean,
She
Queen
had
of England.
imposter syndrome.
She should be wearing Italian garb. Yeah.
Yeah. She was interesting looking back then. I was kind of intrigued because remember that around that same time, was it Sacheen Littlefeather accepted Brando's Oscar Best Actor for
Turns out she
Godfather.
might not have been Native American either. You know?
No, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a real deal. Yeah.
Oh, for Marlon Brando.
Yeah. Okay,
she
so
was, yeah.
Up Where We Belong was from the 55th Academy Awards on April 11th, 1983. So the movie's from 82, blah, blah. So I got some trivia questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So the presenters were Liza Minnelli, Dudley Moore, Richard Pryor, and Wally Matthau.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do some multiple choice questions here. Let's see.
Yep.
Actually, it was the first of 28 consecutive Barbara Walters interviews before the Oscars. And it's the only time George C. Scott ever attended an Oscar ceremony.
Really?
Because he didn't claim his one for Patton either.
I remember hearing about that, yeah.
Okay. All right, so the Best Picture winner of 1982, was it, number one, was it Tootsie, An Officer and a Gentleman, or Gandhi?
It was, it had to be Tootsie or Gandhi. I'd probably say it was Gandhi D.
Gandhi.
You're correct, Gandhi.
Yeah.
I don't think An Officer and a Gentleman was even nominated for Best Picture. Tootsie
That
was.
was a good movie. I
Tootsie
liked
It's got
it.
Richard Gere in it. It's just...
But it was a big movie, though.
I like
I know.
Yeah, it was a big movie for, that was people who like those romantic movies.
It had a little more seriousness than a typical rom-com.
It did. Oh yeah, there was. Was it David?
That was a long movie too, with what's her name?
Yeah.
Winger.
Candy Bergen, right?
No, was it Deborah Winger?
No, Gandhi.
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 And
Yeah.
who
That was
played,
Ben Kingsley.
Who played Richard Gere's father in it?
Was it him? Robert Lozier.
And he had a great frontal nudity shot in that. Where you see him
How'd you like
standing
your
there.
graduation present? And they had two rickety like Vietnamese hookers or something. That's horrible.
So going back, we mentioned that the Academy Awards for the Native American went out for to accept the award for was it George C. Scott?
No, Brando.
No, I heard that at that ceremony, John Wayne wanted to kick her ass. He was like ready to storm the stage.
Of course he was pissed. Mr. Conservative was pissed off. Yeah.
We
They
got
said that she was actually in danger.
Yeah, we got one of these Redskins up here. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, with 200 pounds of meat in his intestines.
Okay. Now, besides Tootsie being a great comedy of '82, my favorite year came out in '82.
Love that movie.
Yeah, Peter O'Toole.
I could recite most of the dialogue from that movie.
Yes, you can.
Really?
Okay, question. Best actor of 1982. Was it Ben Kingsley for Gandhi, Dustin Hoffman for Tootsie, or Jack Lemmon for Missing?
Ben Kingsley.
Well, they were... I'm going to go with Tootsie. I'm going to go with Dustin Hoffman as Tootsie.
Marcus
which wouldn't be acceptable today, by the way, right?
No, it wouldn't. No, a man playing a woman.
Yeah.
But in the interviews he did after that, he was telling like David Letterman or Johnny Carson about shaving his arms and legs. He goes, "I wouldn't do it." He goes, "It was hell."
You know who was great in Tootsie? Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, that little role.
Yeah.
He was good as a supporting role.
Cherigar, yeah, but who won it?
It was Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley as
that was
Gandhi.
his only Academy Award. He came crashing out of the gate.
Yeah.
Sexy Beast.
Mohandas K. Gandhi, right?
Yeah, got Sexy Beast. And by the way, good interview on Mark Maron, but Mark Maron had to fight every minute of that interview. It was a tough interview for him, but Ben Kingsley was all over Mark.
Yeah.
Wow. Bill Murray and Tootsie, my favorite scene is when he's fixing his wig. And he goes, "You got this Howard Johnson's thing going on." I'm like, what did he mean by that?
It's the people that go in Howard Johnson. Yeah, it looked like a lady.
I see what you mean. Okay, like
sitting in the restaurant.
Some Midwestern.
Yeah.
I like in Tootsie when the guy's singing, serenading him outside. He's singing to me.
I like a theater that's only open when it's raining. Back to Love Canal.
And also nobody wants. Oh, the Sidney Pollack. I mean, what a great part he had. Nobody wants to make a movie. Nobody wants to make a play about a couple who moved back to Love Canal.
Nobody wants to work in California. Nobody wants to work with in New York either. I was a juicy, sexy beefsteak tomato. I did a whole lot of vegetables off Broadway.
By the way, Sidney Pollack, Peter Bogdanovich, two directors who do good acting roles.
Great acting.
Yeah.
And also, Lee Strasberg was an acting coach, not a director.
But how about when Tootsie walks into the Russian tea room? She goes, "It's Michael Dorsey. It's Michael Dorsey."
I'd like a Dubonnet with a twist. That's a lovely blouse.
It's a lovely blouse.
So it's funny. Every once in a while, somebody orders a Metro Wines in Charlotte Street, Asheville, North Carolina. Someone will order a bottle of Dubonnet Red, and I crack up because it's got the cat on the label, and I'm like, I said, is Tootsie here? Like, order this thing, you know?
How much does that cost, a bottle?
Oh, it's like $13.
So I can buy it in ShopRite Liquor?
Oh, absolutely. You can buy it in any grocery store. It was considered swanky in the. Yeah.
Because I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to show Anthony.
Yes, like Dubonnet with a twist. That's a lovely blouse. Okay, best supporting actor. Was it John?
In what year?
1982.
1982.
This is from the 1983 55th Oscars. Okay, best supporting actor. Was it John Lithgow for The World According to Garp? Great movie. Was it Louis Gossett Jr. for An Officer and a Gentleman? Mayonnaise! Was it James Mason for The Verdict?
I'm going to go with Louis Gossett.
No, I'm going to go with, what was the first movie?
John Lithgow.
Yeah, it was John Lithgow in The World According to Garp.
The answer is Louis Gossett Jr. for An Officer and a Gentleman. The first African-American actor to win a Best Supporting Actor.
And I think he, too, never got an Academy Award after that.
Probably not.
That was
Well, he's John Lithgow, Portier. We know that.
John Lithgow was great in The World According to Garp. He played Roberta.
Yeah. Former football player.
Yep. Especially at the end of the movie. That movie was sad. Sad.
That was another one of those. It was a book, and it was like a weird ass fucking movie. Yeah,
it was a great book too.
Yeah.
Okay, best supporting actress. Was it Terry Garr for Tootsie, Leslie Ann Warren for Victoria, or Jessica Lange for Tootsie?
I'm going to go with Leslie Ann Warren.
I think I'm going with Jessica Lange.
Perry's correct. Jessica Lange.
She was great.
You know, you're a really beautiful woman, and I would really like to really make love to you.
Yeah. And of course, who was the guy who played her father?
Charles Durning.
The great Charles Durning. There was like,
he played it great.
Man, you know,
he fell in love with a guy.
Yeah.
Ironically,
drag.
Wasn't Charles Durning was in Mrs. Doubtfire?
Charles Durning was in a lot of movies, but he was also
he played Robin Williams' boss, and they're at the restaurant, and Robin Williams had to keep running in the bathroom and take off the wig, and he would, he was good. Yeah,
and Charles Durning was a Marine landing in Iwo Jima too. I think.
Really?
Charles Durning. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
He spent his 18th birthday killing Japanese on Okinawa, probably. Great character actor too.
Great actor.
The part when he confronts Dustin Hoffman with it. I mean, this is 1982.
Yeah. When he was giving him the ring back at the bar.
Yeah.
He pushed it away. Outside. You know, the only reason is because I never kissed you. You know.
That's great. No, and the ultimate thing is because when Dustin Hoffman becomes friends surreptitiously with Jessica Lange.
Right, yeah.
She's saying to him, I would just like a man to come up and be honest and say, I would really like to make love to you. And when he does, she throws a drink in his face.
She throws a drink in his face, yeah. But they become friends. You know, at the end, she says, I miss Dorothy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
My name's not Tootsie, not Honey. It's not sweet. Okay. So Up Where We Belong was the that was the song of the year.
Up where we belong.
So, Mark, did you hear the whole thing about Will Jennings?
No.
Yeah.
Who's Will Jennings?
Will Jennings, one of the co-writers of Up Where We Belong, but I think he co-wrote Tears in Heaven.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we did cover that. And Higher Love, yeah. So I mean, some of these people, you know, there's so many behind the scenes people. I mean,
music has more branches than an oak tree.
Well, yeah, and there's more people like the Jack Nitschkes of the world.
Yeah,
you know, guys like that, and you know they're known everywhere. There were arrangers, you know, like we were talking about John Barbada, the drummer. Nobody knows who the fuck he is, but you know, all these records you listen to and all these other things. So,
yeah.
That's all I got. We got 2 hours of stuff.
Really? Real quick, this will take 30 seconds.
Yes,
we've heard that one before. I'm into chapter 3 of Geddy Lee's book. I finally started it. When I read autobiographies of musicians, I'll say usually the weakest part of the book is their upbringing because it's obligatory. They got to write about it. Phil Collins' book was so boring about his upbringing.
That's the part
Geddy
I pass
Lee's-
on all these books. Yeah.
Geddy Lee's book from the get-go is the most personal. You feel like you're talking to him. And I'm on chapter 3 now. He warns you when you go to chapter 3. He says, if you just want to hear about rock, skip chapter 3. This is some of the heaviest stuff you'll read because he talks about his parents' experience in Auschwitz. But I'm on chapter 3, and I got to tell you, I know it's going to be it's great. 3 chapters in, it's one of the best autobiographies I've ever written. So when I'm done with it, I'll talk about it more, but it's very good. Very good.
Usually when I read these autobiographies, I skip past, like, even with Chris Hillman. I don't care when you were a Cub Scout. I don't care when you were 8 years a Cub Scout. 10 years old. I don't care. I want to know when you started being in bands. That's what it is.
I know. But see, now with Geddy, oh, by the way, he did go to school with Rick Moranis. I didn't know that. I found that out. Mm-hmm. And but with Geddy, because he grew up in the suburbs with parents that came from from World War II Poland. And it just makes for an interesting childhood. And he's, growing up with the Jewish tradition and everything. And it was interesting because I agree with you, Perry. I mean, like, usually I'm like turning, The only other one that I liked was Ron Wood talking about with a gypsy family. That was cool. Talking about growing up with them, But this is really good. He's a storyteller.
I remember Scott McClane talking about Liam Gallagher all the time, and saying that, like, he really does. And I got to tell you, he's right. Look at this about Liam Gallagher's huge Nebworth. This was a couple of years ago. 2 huge Nebworth shows sold 160,000 tickets. So Scott McClane is right. This Liam Gallagher is huge. He doesn't need to.
No, Noel is still bigger. Noel's better. When he played Central Park, he had to do a free show on a double bill with the guy from Bittersweet Symphony. What's his name? So here he's not as big, But you're right. In England, he's king. He is total
huge.
Fucking,
You could tell 160,000 tickets in a matter of hours. Yeah,
you'll see him at Town Hall in Manhattan with maybe 300 people. It's weird.
Well,
isn't
it's different. I mean, look at Paul Weller. When Paul Weller, he plays, he plays clubs in New York. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I got to see Paul Weller again.
Did you ever see? You know who Alan Freed is, right?
I heard he was going to be big someday.
Alan Freed was like an old DJ. You ever see his grave?
Rock and roll hipster.
Did you ever see his grave?
No.
His grave is look at it. It's a jukebox. Look at this. There's Alan. Look, it's a jukebox. Cool. That is so cool, right? For
those listening, his headstone is a perfect recreation
it's
of a jukebox.
The front side, I guess, has his, and then the back side is like a jukebox. Like, how friggin' cool is that? That's Alan Freed, the guy who coined the phrase rock and roll, right?
A mega promoter too.
Yeah.
What year did he die? What's that on his stone?
I don't. 65, I think. 1965. Yeah.
Check this out, guys.
Thank you, Lou.
Is there a sheep? Is there a sheep in the house?
Stand back from the living of my room on the edge of 17.
You in the morning with your sleepy eyes.
Well, that's all I've got, Lou. If you want, I'll put. You want me to do some where we're located at or something like that? The availability of the show.
Why don't we give our email address, which is the musicrelishshow@gmail.com. Is it the Music Relish Show or Music Relish Show?
I'm glad you remembered it. It's Music Relish Show. Mark can't seem to remember it, but you can. It's Music Relish Show at gmail.com. Yeah.
musicrelishshow@gmail.com. Email us. Give us some suggestions. Correct us. Praise us.
Yeah.
Tell us we suck. Whatever you want to do.
You got about 20 seconds, Lou, to do this one.
You need to enlarge this, though. I can't see it. Okay.
I can't enlarge it. You have to enlarge it on your end.
You want me to read it? You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. Ooh, you can see us on the following formats: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, YouTube if you want to look at us, Facebook when Mark gets around to it, Overcast, we are on Podchaser, we are on
Podcast
Addict, we're on Odyssey, and we are on your television and your computer and your telephone.
It's the audacity of Odyssey.
The audacity of Odyssey. That is the Music Relish Show biography, The Audacity of Odyssey.
Yeah. Yep.
And I want to say that my sister Allison, who also watches me and Lou on the other show, I can't remember the names, loves this show. She says she grew up, she says we talk about the stuff she likes. My sister loves it. If my sister loves this show, it's good. It's all
She
good.
likes our show too?
Yeah, she thinks you're great.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, she really likes it.
Oh, that's
Cool.
nice.
Well, do you want me to roll some
good.
closing
And Perry
credits,
too.
Lou?
And Perry too. So,
Perry.
you know what it is? She says that Lou and Perry keep me in line. So.
Do, 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 do. Ooh.
Getting paid.
All the music Relish show with Mark and Perry and Lou.
It's the show.
Music Relish show.
It's the music Relish show.
Nothing French
My wine
pour.
glass.
I'm gonna go pee after watching this waterfall. There it is, the drum kit, Music Relish show. Yeah. Yep.
Memory of my German grandma.
Well, let me say farewell. Let me say fare thee well. Good night.
Fare thee well. Bye, guys.